joining us. This is Where's My Super Suit? With your boy Phony Toast, the toast with the most, and
Task 1, TASK.
we are here today to bring you comic book, comic media, and comic gaming information, with the primary topic today being something that a lot of people are talking about as their first issue is just dropped, and that is the new, well, not necessarily new, but redone Squadron Supreme. And I know what you're seeing here is Season 1, Topic 2. We are going to actually release Topic 1 a little bit later. We'll also be talking about our good old boy Iron Fist, and something that's really, I'd almost say, plaguing his character right now in terms of, where he's going to go.
Right.
But let's get to it. Now, who are the Squadron Supreme? Squadron Supreme, the original cast. Who to you really represents the core of the original Squadron Supreme cast?
Well, let me basically say something that no one, because I've done a lot of research on this. I've been reading Squadron Supreme forever. Nobody wants to say what the Squadron Supreme are. And the Squadron Supreme are the Justice League. Let me just throw that out there. They're Marvel's Justice League. There's Hyperion, who is Superman.
Yeah.
Like, to the T. Like, he is just Superman. And then there's Nighthawk, and Nighthawk is their Batman.
Yes.
And there's been different types of Nighthawks, but the main Nighthawk that we know, he is pretty much just their Batman.
He is Batman. He's rich. I mean, since 2003 at least. And no, before that, Kyle Richmond. Every version of Kyle Richmond has always been wealthy.
Yeah.
He's always had, his own businesses.
Exactly.
He's moonlighted, if you will, as his character.
He's had a ridiculous costume. But they went ahead and fixed that, and I love that they fixed that. And the Supreme Power comic that was on Max, written by J. Michael Straczynski. I was, the Squadron, they're from another universe, and they're pretty much the Avengers of their universe, and they come over to our side, and of course, in Marvel's way, back when Marvel and DC were having a war, where they still kind of are, but it's kind of Marvel's way of saying our characters are better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's their way of doing it. I'm actually shocked DC hasn't done the same thing. I'm shocked DC has not made their version of a Squadron Supreme, but it's kind of a messed up way. Yeah, then there's Power Princess, which is Wonder Woman to a T,
and Amazonian. Basically Amazonian with super strength, and that's super strength and fighting skills.
Exactly.
Who is got a really violent temper.
Exactly. Then I got the Wizard, which is a horrible name. I'm glad they changed him to the Blur.
Yes.
Because he originally the Wizard. I'm like, what the hell is a wizard?
Hey, you will slip anytime you're around this character.
I get what you just did there. Like the Wizard, he's supposed to be the Flash. And then there's Dr. Spectrum, which is supposed to be their Green Lantern.
Obvious Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't bite the Green Lantern anymore. So instead, let's say you don't have a ring, and let's give you this prism.
Yeah, you
can make constructs.
Yes.
From light-based anything in your imagination.
So, just in case if DC ever says, hey, you just read out Green Lantern, be like, no, he's not like Green Lantern at all. Green Lantern has a ring. He has a prism.
He has jewelry, alright? Look, he's got the bling. This guy has a rock. All right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a difference there, apparently.
And so, it's they are pretty much, and in this newest incarnation, because after Secret Wars, Marvel pretty much had a Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like, Secret Wars that just is still going on. It's supposed to have been ended. Like, can we talk about how Secret Wars was just a big clusterfuck? Can we just mention that real quick? Can we just throw that out there?
I am so uninterested in Secret Wars.
It sucks how they did. I'm like, Marvel, how did you have everyone's attention, then completely lose it?
It started when they said God Doom, a small tear fell from my eye. I was like, thank you.
Like, people don't understand that Doom is the greatest villain ever created. And I think that's one thing Secret Wars did right, was when the group went and saw Doctor Strange, and they're like, Doom has taken over the world. And they're like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, Doom was the only one that could fix all this. Everything was fucked. And Dr. Doom said, you know what? I got this. And if you notice throughout history, it's always Doom.
It is always.
Can we go back to the original Secret War?
Doom has it in for the Beyonders.
Exactly.
Nothing, and I think it's a good way to almost say nothing is beyond Doom.
Exactly. Like
That is what is represented in Doom's. I mean, like you said, all chips down. The heroes and villains don't even know what's really going on.
Exactly.
Because if you go into this Secret Wars and the last Secret Wars, Doom was acting on his own with who he needed to get the job done.
Exactly.
First it was Claw.
Exactly.
You know, and he designed a machine to take the Beyonders' power.
Yes.
And then boom, you go right into this Secret Wars and he turns it right back around. He's like, all right, Molecule Man.
Yeah.
We got work to
and
do.
he convinced Molecule Man to like do all that, and like it was just crazy. But anyways, yeah. So they had the big Secret Wars thing, and pretty much this current Squadron Supreme, the one that you see here with the Alex Ross cover, they're pretty much the Squadron Supreme. They're pretty much the Squadron Supreme of different planets, which I like how they've done that. Is that they're the final? They're still the Squadron Supreme, but they're ones from different universes, so each one doesn't know each other. Yes. The only two that we fully I would say you've pretty much met. If you've been reading as much Marvel as I have, you've met every single member of this Squadron Supreme. They're pretty much a Squadron Supreme from each reincarnation. The Hyperion is the most recent Hyperion.
Yes, from the Avengers book.
Yes,
him and Thor were buddy.
Yes, which. Oh God! Having Thor and Hyperion on the same team is just insanity. I'm just like, wow, this Avengers team, who the fuck can fuck with that? Like,
yes. You know, they got so bad they started like writing their own episode. Like, it's just gonna be Thor and Hyperion.
No, seriously,
they can't really put anybody. Like,
no, seriously, that was the problem with. I liked the team. It was pretty much all the heavy hitters in Marvel, but the problem was it was all the heavy hitters in Marvel. Yes. So I'm like, what can they fight? What exactly can they fight to, balance all this? But anyways, so we have Hyperion from the recent Jonathan Hickman written Avengers run. Yes. We have the Nighthawk from the amazing Supreme Power run written by J. Michael Straczynski, drawn by Gary Frank. If you haven't read that, go read it because
it was too good.
The Nighthawk. The whole concept of the Supreme Power book was that Michael Straczynski took DC characters and said, what if we wrote them like this? What if we take everything that we love about these characters but make it like this?
Let's give them some darkness.
Yes.
Let's give them some violence.
Make them
in like, what if Hyperion? This is a great what if. Because they've tried to do this with Superman, and I think DC's been scared to flesh it out. What if he was taken in by the government?
Well, yeah, because one of the biggest problems I've always had with Superman's story was that he landed on Earth in the middle of a cornfield. I refuse to believe that no one would have heard that or known that. And how the hell did the dad drag the spaceship into a damn barn without no one noticing? Like, it's like, it doesn't make sense.
I got you. I can explain all
that.
All
right. Here we go.
Superman.
Huh?
Explain.
What do you mean?
You know how Superman beats all his villains?
Yes.
Superman. It's part of the contract. So anything involving Superman simply has to win with. So when he was a baby, you're like, hey, look, it doesn't make any sense that he crash landed on Earth side. But if you were to read how DC would write it, they would say he had special Kryptonian silencer units attached to his unit. Dude, don't you dare!
Hold on.
Like you're saying,
don't you Batman this shit. Like, how did he do that? I'm Batman. Like, no. That doesn't work. Or maybe it does. I don't know. Like,
because my man has chained planets together and towed them across the universe.
That's people. That's pre-Crisis and pre-Flashpoint Superman. It doesn't count anymore.
It doesn't count anymore.
He doesn't count anymore. Anyways, but back to this. So then we have the Nighthawk from the Supreme Power. Mm-hmm. We have the Power Princess from the older run. Which you see above here, right here. Oh shit! Yeah, right there. Yeah, we have the Power Princess from there. We have the Dr. Spectrum, which is a female. And she was from the recent Jonathan Hickman New Avengers run, where they go to her universe and they completely destroy her universe. The Cabal
yes.
did it with Namor.
Namor pushed the button.
Namor, we'll get there. And then the runner dude, the black guy. I know where he's from. He's not from Squadron. He's not from Squadron Supreme at all. Okay, he's from the New Universe. Remember the '80s New Universe that Starbrand came from? Okay. Yeah, he's from that universe. I forgot the name of the group that he's from. I apologize to y'all. I should have probably had more info on that. But he's from that place. So he's also a speedster that's black.
Okay.
So he's their speedster. I see Thundra on the team.
But she has it, as far as issue one concerned, she's just in the book.
She's not on the team yet. I don't see her on the team yet. I'm concerned on why Thundra is on the team because I'm like, you already have Power Princess. Why do we need Thundra?
Yeah, because like, Power Princess and Hyperion are two brutes, or basically your two tanks. Thundra is a full tank. She brings nothing else to the table.
She doesn't add anything new except for more of the same. So I'm wondering if James Robinson, who's writing this by the way, I'm wondering if he has something because I trust James Robinson except for with his Justice League. Well, anyways, that was in the Justice League when he had a big blue gay alien on the team and a giant golden immortal gorilla, but.
You do what you got to do, right?
Hey man, I'm down for different stuff, but that was kind of like, that's not my Justice League. But so they're the new Squadron Supreme, and they announced this book a while back, and I was concerned because I'm kind of like, do we need a Squadron Supreme? Because they're supposed to be on the same planet as Avengers,
right?
And it's kind of like, so do we need a Squadron Supreme book on top of the Avengers? So the book came out, and I don't know, Toast. Why don't you tell me?
Okay,
what you thought about it?
I have so many problems with this book.
Okay,
all right. So number one, the first problem I have with this book is the first thing that these guys do. The first thing is they come out and they go after my boy Namor.
Okay.
Now, Namor is to me. He's a staple in the Marvel Universe.
He is.
He is a lone character that makes people think twice if they want to ever pick up an Aquaman book. Because he is Aquaman written like a man. I mean, that's what he's been his entire... Don't get me wrong, Aquaman has had some good runs. But for the most part, Namor makes you fear Namor. Namor has not had a moment where you're like, okay, it's 50... Imperious Rex, hands down, rolls out, Namor is coming to kill. I mean, he's been on teams with Captain America, Jim Hammond, the original Human Torch, on the Invaders back in the day. So he's been around for a number of years as far as the Marvel Universe is concerned. He's fought as big people as the Hulk.
Yes, he has.
So his strength is definitely proven. He's gone to every length to save his wonderful city of Atlantis that you could possibly imagine, even including starting war with the surface world, yada, 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 bio stuff. He, to me, is too big of a character to have addressed in a first issue. And when I say addressed, I'm going to get to basically what happened to my boy Namor. Namor, sorry. And that is this. My boy Namor, Planet Killer, as apparently he's become. He is now being judged in a single book for his actions. And don't get me wrong, I have no problem with the matchup here, as they decided to pit him against the primary on the Squadron Supreme, and that is our boy Hyperion.
Yes.
Hyperion is essentially Superman. You don't beat Superman. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, he's just Superman.
I get how that works.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. But to take him in the issue 1 of their book and simply just end him, I mean, my boy.
Spoilers, by the way.
we have spoilers. I can't do spoilers. I give people a week.
Okay. You're right.
You have some spoilers, and that's what the big issue is Namor is dead. I mean, any site you see this on right now, that's the big news is they killed Namor.
Okay.
And not just killed Namor, because, you see this right here and you think, okay, well, he's probably not dead. No. My man is deceased.
Yeah, he's dead.
Head on the ground.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They did that.
Yep.
They did that. And to me, that doesn't say that you're going to take this team and do a lot with them. I'd almost want to say that doing something this big in your initial book is leading me up to you're going to have a short run.
I disagree with that, and let me explain why. Basically, what I got from this was that first of all, this team is powerful as shit. Let's just throw that out there.
Yeah.
They're powerful as shit. So how do you let people know how powerful your team is? From the get-go, they taking out a big name. They taking out one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. Like if you're going to do it, and that's where you're going with the book, that my team is unfuckwittable, you gotta let them know. What better way to know is to make them take out Namor. I'm a Namor fan. I love Namor, but I could tell for years Marvel just didn't know what to do with him. They just didn't know what to do with him.
They even put him with the X-Men for a good while.
I remember when he was rolling with the X-Men, which I thought was kind of cool. But then there was a part of me that was kind of like, okay, I don't understand. Like, so he's an X-Men now? Like, that doesn't make sense.
To me, that was very out of character because of Atlantis. Because he doesn't, you're part mutant, yes, helping them out from time to time, but him basically almost living among them to that degree and not being that primary Atlantean just felt out of character for me.
It just was weird to have Namor on the team. Like, it just didn't fit. He even had fucking Phoenix powers for a second. Yeah. I was just like, and he destroyed Wakanda. I remember that.
Oh, the destruction of Wakanda, I mean, that was coming. I mean, what else is he going to do?
No, seriously. I mean, I'm all for it. I understand why he did it. I understand why they decided to go that route with it. And I liked what happened at the end of the book, which was pretty much the Avengers are like, whoa, hold up. You can't just be doing shit like this with this, might I say, horrendous lineup of Avengers. I hate this team. I don't like it. I don't care for the team. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, no,
this is one of the points I was gonna make. So, okay, I'm sorry. I have to get to this point.
Go for it.
The ending of the comic is where I really think that they're going to do something either really bad with this team or really good with this team.
With the Uncanny Avengers?
This is why. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's Squadron.
This team's horrible. I hope they don't. Notice I put the X on my boy Spider-Man. He's on the team.
That's like the first issue.
Like, this team's a joke.
Yes.
I would not be caught dead. I have integrity. I'm Spider-Man. Do you know how much money I bring into this
Seriously,
company? But when they brought in the Avengers at the end of the episode, that's immediately in the comic world, you're having to answer for your crime.
Yes.
And regardless of how crappy the team is, because we'll play out the fight in a minute, because I can kind of see how they might take this. Them bringing that classic battle, which they've done before, with the Avengers versus the Squadron Supreme / Sinister. You know, they fought both iterations. They fought the good, thinking they were the bad, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
That tells me that you're either going to punt these guys off, which is why I think Tundra might be involved, move them into a different conflict that doesn't take place in this time. Because like you said, they're too powerful.
Yes.
They've already done something huge.
Yes.
This is the new Steve Rogers Captain America, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ultimate Edition.
I hate it.
You know, and they're not going to be allowed on the same planet.
Yes.
Anymore. So what I think is going to happen is either they're going to move them over, or it's going to be a short run, and we're going to watch them. We're going to watch them get scaled back a lot. We're going to watch maybe even their team start to split up, and things of that nature.
The Squadron Supreme,
the Squadron Supreme team, which I don't want to see happen. I like the idea of them, but I almost think that they're so powerful they might have to be kind of like Authority in DC, where you have to do them separately because you can't contend against them. It would be ridiculous for in a book where Superman went up against anybody, not anybody, but against like a Jenny Quantum. Like, they went head to head with your, our toughest versus your toughest. It's not going to make sense.
No, I get exactly what you're saying, but I like the aspect, because one of the things I never really understood is why are the Avengers the only ones that has to save the world?
True.
Why can't it be someone else? And that's one thing I like. I like the concept that we have the Avengers who are the goody two shoes. Then they have the Squadron Supreme, and they're here to make sure shit gets done.
Right.
Like, shit's gonna get done. We're gonna take care of these guys. And one thing I liked about the whole aspect of, the Authority, which, if you guys don't know, that's like my favorite group of all time. Like, no one touches the Authority. Anyways,
it is. If you haven't picked it up, pick that book up.
It's
and
amazing.
Go back and start with Jenny Sparks on the Authority. Volume 1. I mean, you will be surprised. You'll probably go back. That book is so good it makes you read other books.
Now, seriously, you want to like learn the whole history of them. But the thing is, the Authority was around, but there were still other superheroes. There were the Wildcats. There was the Stormwatch. There was Wetworks. There were a bunch of other superheroes that were still around when Authority was doing their thing. See, Authority only showed up when something fucked up happens. When something's so bad that you just need to be wiped off the planet. Like, you just did something horrendous. Like, something so bad.
Something along the lines of empowering hundreds of thousands of young people with superheroes to become bombs and then smashing them into a populated country.
Exactly.
Would you say that would be
exactly? That's when you send. That's when you send the Authority. Like, that's when they show up. Like, they don't show up for the small shit. Which I'm thinking, that's where Marvel's going up, especially with lineups like this. Like, I hate this lineup. First of all, I have to go back and reread this. Which Human Torch is that? Because But in this issue, I think that was Johnny Storm.
Oh, in the first issue?
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait,
what?
No, I remember this. I remember reading it because everyone saw that Human Torch was on his team, but then they were like, okay, but wait, he's also supposed to be on the Inhumans, which they still haven't explained.
He is on the Inhumans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They still haven't explained why he's there, other than that he's boning Medusa now. And I'm just like, okay, is that it? Is that like the only reason why he's there? He just seems out of place. But then we see this. I remember when Marvel was first slowly announcing all the new teams. Then we see this, so everyone's like, okay, is that Hector Hammond? But then when you read this book, it's Johnny Storm.
Right.
That's why I'm like, wait a minute. And then we see them at the end of Squadron, and now he's Hector Hammond.
It's definitely Hammond in the Squadron.
So it's definitely Hammond in the Squadron. But with this team on there, like, but that's why I'm like, Marvel, get it right, man. Like, which one is it? It would make more sense to me if that was Hammond. Yeah. It would make more sense to me.
Hammond and Cap.
Yeah.
Those two go together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just assumed that was Hammond. I'm like, no way Human Torch will be on two different teams. It's like, it's Marvel's way of saying, hey, Fantastic Four fans. If you like Fantastic Four, just read our book. Because, you're not going to get a book, so...
oh, my God. The Fantastic Four right now. That's just...
I honestly don't know how they're going to come back.
I don't know if Marvel wants them back. After what happened with them in the media, and, the changes, I think, in heroes overall. Like, people don't want a family-oriented comic.
Why not?
And that's what I think a lot of what they miss in the essence of Fantastic Four.
Here's my argument. People keep saying, "Oh, well, nobody wants that." People said nobody wants a family-oriented movie no more. I said that's bullshit. People are screaming for an Incredibles sequel.
Yeah.
And let's just be honest, Incredibles is just a Fantastic Four.
They launched. They announced that, right?
What?
Incredibles 2.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay. So if people are asking for an Incredibles 2, why can't we get a Fantastic Four? I just refuse to believe that. Like, I'm like, no, it's what it is that Fox has completely scarred the name of Fantastic Four so badly. True. Like, let's go all the way back to the movie. I don't even know most of the people know. There was a movie they made in the early 90s that never came out. It never came out. And if you want to watch it, you can watch it in its entirety on YouTube. Someone uploaded it on YouTube. Google Fantastic Four 90s film and it will pull up and you can watch it. But I warn you, it's horrendous. There's a reason why it never came out. Pretty much Fox had the rights and they were about to lose it.
Yep.
And they're like, well, what do we do to keep it? They were like, well, you gotta make a movie. And so they made a movie. But it was so bad, so rushed, and they had no money to do it, and they just put it out. But I mean, no, actually, they didn't even put it out. They just said, all right, we're just not going to put this out. But shout out to the internet.
Hey, I can tell you this much: as bad as it is, still better than the newest one. Still better than the newest one. There is nothing redeemable about. I mean, they have missed the entire. And I think this is why they don't want to make another book right now. Is because in the eyes of the general fan, that person who's going to walk in and buy that reboot to try to enter the Fantastic Four universe, they miss the essence of the characters, and that's something that even in the movies with the mid 2000 movies that Fox did, they at least kind of almost got some of the essence. The relationship between the Thing and the Human Torch was kind of there. That playful relationship back and forth. They messed up on Reed badly because they didn't make him confident. You know, they basically made him like, look, I'm incompetent. I'm not confident in what I do, and I'm not confident in love. So, you know, whatever. But the fact that they never got the same essence, and I started reading Fantastic Four books. My first comic book was Fantastic Four fighting Airwalker, the automation.
Oh, okay.
Right before another Return of Galactus.
The Galactus Herald.
And that was my first book I ever read. To me, that's the first example of superhero that I ever saw. Was a Fantastic Four. The Ben Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, Clobber in Time, Flame On. You know, I mean, those were things I grew up with, and to see them butchered like this, it doesn't give me hope in them coming back in a book.
Well, the first thing that scared me, this was years ago when they even first announced this, was that I forgot who said it. I think it was the woman that's playing that played Invisible Girl. She says, "Oh, we don't feel like we need to like go and delve into the material. We're not gonna do that. We got it from here." And I was just kind of like, ooh, I don't know about that. Like, I'm like, you know, I get it. They don't make these movies for us, but there's a reason why you're making this film. There's a reason why the books work. I mean, Jesus Christ, like all the best stories that are from the movies are stuff they took straight from the books. Like they just took ideas from the books. Next Captain America movie is going to be Civil War. Now, I know that it's not going to be like how it is in the book, but they pretty much got the idea for it. I'm pretty sure if there wasn't a Civil War book, there wouldn't be a Civil War movie. I'll lay the cash on the table for that. So, like,
or maybe there would, because Age of Ultron had nothing to do with Age of Ultron, the book.
Yeah, but they got. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. They still got the idea of it from the books. Yeah, they took it and they twisted it and did something else with it.
I was gonna say, because not one idea in the book.
Oh no.
Anyway, they just got a title.
It shouldn't have been called Age of Ultron. It should have been called Ultron Unlimited. That's what I say. I like the Ultron Unlimited. To me, the Ultron. I don't know if you read the Ultron Unlimited story, written by Kurt Busiek, drawn by George Perez. One of my favorite runs ever. Probably my favorite Avengers run. Was a 4 or 5 issue story arc where Ultron destroys a whole country. Just completely destroys a whole country. Kills everybody. I'm talking man, children, baby. Kills everyone in the whole country. Then turns them all into Terminator cyborgs. Now he has a whole army. And so the Avengers go there, just Captain America, Thor, Firestar was on the team at the time. Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Firestar, and fucking Black Panther. Yeah. They just go dive in and just attack. And they're getting fucked up. They're just getting fucked up. This is one of the reasons why I love the Avengers, because they get their asses kicked. Like, when they get into a fight, Captain America's arm is broken. Thor is just ripped to shreds. Like, even Thor got fucked up. Like, no one left that thing unscathed.
It's in the title. Yeah. Why do you think they avenge the ass kicking they get at the beginning of the episode?
Like, it was Ultron Unlimited, and it had one of my favorite lines that I was begging would be in the second Avengers film, and it was they finally find the main Ultron, because they're fighting all these Ultron robots, destroying all of them. They're like, none of them are the main Ultron. We need to find the main Ultron. They finally find him, and they knock down the door because he's behind this wall. They knock down the wall. And Ultron's about to kill Wasp, and Ultron turns to them, and Thor says the greatest line. Like, even Wizard, when it came out at the time, it was named Moment of the Year. That's when the Avengers finally find the Ultron, the main Ultron. They're fucked up. Fucking Captain America has a sling in his arm. Iron Man's suit is ripped off. Captain America's pretty much naked except for his mask. Like, they're fucked up. And Thor points his hammer at him and says, "Ultron, we shall have words with thee."
Nice.
That line was just like like it was just like you could tell like they're about to go ham. Like, all right, let's go in. But that's what I think the second Avengers movie should have been called Ultron Unlimited. Like, if you think about it, it was pretty much that story. Like, all the different Ultrons they had to fight. There was a different country he was trying to kill. It should have just been called that. Because if you read the Age of Ultron book, which if you want to read it, you can.
Not that great. I mean, it's
typical Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah,
it's typical.
It's too
Bendis.
quick. It builds you up for a very disappointing ending. And although you kind of get a little sample of something that should have happened a long time ago.
Yes.
And I felt should be repeated.
What's that?
A lot. Hank Pym.
Oh, Hank Pym dying.
Killing Hank. No, not Hank Pym dying. Hank Pym being killed. Because I'm team fuck Hank Pym.
Well, he didn't die in Ultron.
The first one, remember, he killed him. In the Age of Ultron, they killed him, then they had to go back.
Oh, yeah, then they went back. Because Wolverine
everything that messed up was, when they went back, everything was messed up because of the result of Hank Pym dying. You're right. So, the Avengers hadn't formed in the same way. So they're like, oh, cry me a river. Look, I would have dealt with it, because fuck Hank Pym, alright?
Well, you know he's dead now, right?
Yeah.
You know he's officially dead.
Well,
they did a one-shot story.
Marvel officially dead, which means he's resting.
Let me tell you something. Scott Lang is Ant-Man now. They don't even want you to think about Hank Pym.
But here's another thing. I remember back in roughly 2003, in a little book called Disassemble, Scott Lang was fucking dead. Dead. They didn't even have enough to scrape Scott Lang off the sidewalk.
Once again, more Bendis bullshit. Alright. And Bendis has this knack for killing off characters he just doesn't care about. Like, if he just doesn't care about a character, he'll just kill him off. And it's like, what the fuck? You can't just...
The worst part to me is, you kill him off and bring him back. Look, if you're going to kill him, let him be dead. That was one of the main reasons I used to love the Ultimates universe is kill a character and let him stay dead. Until, of course, the end, they fucked it all up. I don't even want to talk about it, but...
Well, Ultimatum. Like, I'm all for killing off characters.
Great.
You love Ultimatum?
I liked Ultimatum because there's I've been wanting to see Scott Summers get shot in the head. That alone. Let
me tell you something. I don't know what Marvel's problem with Cyclops is. Dear Marvel, if you're watching this, you're probably not watching this, even though you should. Dear Marvel, what is your problem with Scott Summers? Why do y'all go out of your way to just destroy this man? I don't understand it. I'm an X-Men supporter to the day, and I'm just kind of like, what is your problem with Scott Summers? Y'all have just done everything you can to just completely ruin this character.
Because, I tell you why. They were like, damn, we can't get rid of this weak character with this stupid power.
How is he weak? Explain this. I want, no, now we about to go in it. No, I got time. Today I got time for this.
He's a cheater who only dates telepathics.
See, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, why did you make him do that? Like, why?
That's part of his core character.
Why? No, it's not.
That's part of his core character.
It wasn't until Grant Morrison wrote him. He would never cheat on Jean. He killed so many motherfuckers to defend Jean.
Why would he Phoenix? Phoenix wasn't Jean. That was another.
No. That was Madeline Pryor, who was a clone, who he didn't know was a clone that Mr. Sinister made. That was.
Didn't know.
He didn't know. How the fuck is he? He ain't got no damn.
Didn't know she made him call Goblin Queen and then he was doing that. He knew.
Maybe, but still, like, I was just like, why are y'all ruining this character? And then I'm reading him more. He's just doing more fucked up shit. He created X-Force, which I love, which is something I think Marvel needs to go back to. I loved the X-Men Hit Squad. Yeah. Which I'm hoping the new Uncanny X-Men team, led by Magneto, which... Another thing, Marvel, you kind of dropped the ball. We got way off subject, by the way. You kind of dropped the ball. I know, right? For one picture.
All these teams are better than this one. We were just saying. All these teams are clearly better.
Marvel, you kind of dropped the ball on something for me. And this is just my opinion. If you feel a different opinion... I was looking forward to the end of Secret Wars when they first announced it because I was like, dude, there's a lot of shit that happened in the Marvel Universe that needs to kind of be fixed. For example, how old is Magneto now? Like, where are we going with this? Magneto was in Auschwitz. He was in World War II. How is he all buff and standing there with the X-Men? It doesn't make sense to me.
You may call it strange. You may even say a stranger was involved a long time ago, and they've been rioting that whole thing ever since. Remember, Stranger came back and made Magneto a baby, and then Magneto got returned back, and he was a lot younger.
But no, wasn't that Joseph though? That was Joseph who ended up being the clone.
No, legit Magneto was kidnapped by the Stranger and turned back into. I remember
he was turned into a baby, and then they turned him back to he was a little bit younger, and then he ended up joining the X-Men, and then you find out he's a clone, and the real Magneto was Magneto.
But him and Magneto were the same age because Magneto was still kidnapped by the Stranger. I mean, that was a legit Magneto. The clone was made, I believe the clone was made, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
He was made during the time when Magneto was away. So they both came back at the same time, but Joseph went towards the X-Men, and he was in the limelight. Then they showed Magneto, but Magneto was still gone, and that's why Magneto was back and, See,
I was under the impression that he abducted Magneto. They found him, but he was a baby, so they're like, oh, he turned him into a baby. And then they turned him back into a little bit younger age. It was an excuse to get Magneto on the X-Men. It was the whole point of that was to get Magneto on the X-Men.
Because he had a whole relationship with Rogue and everything.
Exactly. Right? Oh God. Which I never thought. I don't think they ever explained that. Ever since the amazing Age of Apocalypse run, which was probably the first. I was thinking about that. I was like, no, because Secret Wars 2 did it. I was like, was that the first multiple title crossovers ever done? And I was like, no, because Secret Wars 2 did that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's worth looking at. But anyways, Age of Apocalypse was great. But Magneto, because of Magneto's powers, Rogue can touch him. And I don't think that's ever been explained. I don't think that's ever been explained. Because her getting with Colossus made sense. Because as long as he was in a still form, she could touch him. But Magneto, she could touch Magneto somehow. And I'm just like, how? I don't know if that was really explained. It's going to be worth looking up. Wow. I mean, I'm hoping it's explained somewhere.
Because, there's certain characters where... Because to me, it doesn't make sense only because when you take a character like Wolverine who can regenerate...
Yes.
She touches Wolverine, she takes his power faster than he can regenerate it. You know what I mean? Right. It's at such an adverse level that he can't heal from something like that. So, if she's taking anybody's power, it's automatically been inferred that she is removing part of the power and energy within you. It's not, to the point of your thoughts, everything. Everybody gets weaker.
Yeah, but that's what happened with Miss Marvel, but eventually they get better. That's what happened with her.
I see what you're saying, where it's technically you don't really have a power that should negate her taking your energy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because if that was the case with Magneto, and that would mean anyone could get with her. That means Gambit would be able to get with her. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying.
Polaris, which I think would be really interesting.
Oh God.
Yeah, she's a kind of character, but she's at least the green hair and everything.
Well, now, thank God damn it, Marvel. Now you find out Polaris is actually his only daughter.
Yeah,
Magneto's only daughter. Because now
Quicksilver is not his kid.
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are not his kids, and I'm just like,
right?
Because of the movies.
Movieverse.
Shout out to the movies because this is Marvel's way of saying fuck you, the Fox. Nope. Dude, I tell people that, do you understand how big that is that they did that? They've been known as his kids since before my parents were born. This is years of continuity. They just completely thrown out the window.
It's who they're trying to escape being the entire time. Hold up, we're not born innately evil? You mean all the asshole stuff we've done is because we're assholes?
Oh, great. God. I'm just mad at the whole situation because I'm just like, Marvel, you promised me that the movies would not affect the comics. Now that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. And making Magneto no longer have kids except for Polaris was just no. It's just wait, hold up, wait. No, wait.
If anything, just not make Polaris his kid. Keep the two originals. It just makes that's being hey, look, we're gonna redo Wolverine, and the new Wolverine, no claws and no healing factor.
Well, they did redo Wolverine.
They did. They changed.
I just want to find a hardcore Wolverine fan right now and just ask him What does he think about what Marvel's doing with that character right now?
I don't really like Wolverine all that much. I can't say.
Oh, like you don't like him in general?
No, I think no. I like Wolverine pre him having more than like 3 words in a sentence. I liked old Bub Snicket. Wolverine.
I like Wolverine when he was the dude when he wasn't a hero.
Yeah.
I like the Wolverine when he was on the team and he was like kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like he was like
he is a weapon.
He was
Wolverine
a frightening character. Like people on the team were scared of him.
Yeah.
Like they were like, this motherfucker might kill us at any moment. Like that to me was who Wolverine is. He's the member of the team that does what needs to be done, and he doesn't really want to be on the team, but he does it because he knows they need him, and no one on the team likes him. They can't stand him. He's a fucking asshole, and that's the Wolverine I know and like. Instead, they've turned him into like this flagship superhero. He's kind of nice. He's kind of not. I'm just like, no. To me, that's not Wolverine. But it's funny how they're doing Wolverine right now. This made me think something. Remember when Wolverine was that nigga? Like, remember when he was that dude? It wasn't that long ago.
It hasn't been, no.
It wasn't that long ago when Wolverine was everywhere. Like, when you thought Marvel, you thought Wolverine.
Matter of fact, I remember probably 2003, 2004, when we would go down to Empire Comics, we would count how many books Wolverine was on the cover of.
Remember when
he'd be on the cover, the only character on the cover on books that weren't even his.
Weren't even about him.
Hey, look, Dazzler's got a 6-issue one. Wolverine's on the cover.
Remember the Civil War first issue Michael Turner variant?
Yep.
Wolverine's on it. Wolverine's not even in the whole fucking title. He's not even in He has nothing to even say. Mutants have nothing to do with this. And that's what I liked about Civil War, because it showed Marvel we can do this without mutants. We can do this without mutants. All you gotta do is tell a decent story. Yeah. But back to what I'm trying to say is, I tell you, remember when Wolverine was that dude? Yeah. That can happen to any character. Like
this guy?
No, like Batman. Like, what if all of a sudden they just decided, fuck it, we're just rolling with Green Lantern? What if they just decided to make Green Lantern? But think about it. What's the difference? Batman was everywhere. So was Wolverine. Wolverine was almost arguably more everywhere than Batman was. Yeah. Arguably.
He was on the cover of a Batman book.
No, this is okay. To get off subject, I used to run a comic book store, and I remember there was this motherfucker that would come in. I didn't like this fucking guy. He was annoying, and he was one of those dudes that just think that he knew everything. But anyways, we called him Wolverine fan. Because he literally, when you guys read comic books, you have saviors and everything. You write, I want everything with this in it, everything with that. This guy said he wanted everything that had Wolverine in it. It didn't matter. Even if the nigga was just on the cover. He wanted anything Wolverine related. And I remember that they were canceling the JSA book on DC. And I was kind of mad about it. I was like, man, like, more people should be reading JSA. It's one of my favorite books. He was like, well, I would read it if Wolverine was in it. And like, he was dead serious. Like, it wasn't even like a ha. I only read it if Wolverine was in it. Ha. No, it was, I read it if Wolverine was in it. Straight face. Like, he was dead serious. So like, Wolverine was that dude. So I'm just saying, like, that could happen to any character. That can happen to Batman. Batman can seriously just be pushed to the back. I'm not saying DC would ever do it, but
I was gonna say, because that's a lot of titles right now. There's like
but so was
5 or 6 Batman titles.
So was Wolverine.
The only difference I'd say between a Batman and Wolverine and why Wolverine still was an appearance character. A lot of those weren't his books or weren't directly his universe's books. He was crossing a whole different threshold where Batman has just a ton of books. I mean, between Batman and Robin and every other thing associated with him. I think they've got another they've got a comic book out for him too, based on the Arkham game and everything like that, Genesis or whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 of them. There's the Arkham Knight one. and then they're still making books based off of what's that one game that came out? The one where it's the fighting game.
Which one?
With the DC characters? Oh god, what is the
Injustice.
Injustice. Excuse me, thank you. Like, they're still making comic books based off of it. Like, dude, that game is like 4 or 5 years old. They're still making books.
The first run of that book was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, no, it was.
I enjoyed that run.
Yeah, it was actually
good.
Seriously decent.
I have to go back and catch up with the other one. Hold on, we got a question. What's up, Weed Moron? It's a friend from the gaming world. My boy Spider-Man up here, he has an X. Matter of fact, to get all the way back to where we were with the Uncanny Avengers. He has an X because in the very first issue, this issue that I'm showing here, my man quit the team.
And he hasn't been back.
He looked at this team, he laughed, and was just like, look, this team's not going to work. And even though they're beating this to death, basically he's saying one of the big reasons is because Deadpool's on the team. And a lot of characters apparently, and this is going to be a running joke that they can't get enough of, have a problem with Deadpool being on an Avengers team.
He's not an Avenger.
Which is, everybody knows he's an X-Men.
He's not even an X-Men.
No, he's whoever shirt he puts on.
He's who's ever paying him. He's who's ever paying him.
Short run. So to me, I think the best thing they could have done with Deadpool versus put him on an Avengers team is give Deadpool his own book. Call it something like Secret Avenger, and do like a almost Max style Fury book where you have Deadpool going deep on missions from Captain America. So send him on espionage missions, things of that nature that are more serious nature with his sense of humor.
But you can do that with his regular book.
You can do that with his regular book.
Yeah.
But I understand they have because of his popularity, they want to flesh out his regular book in any way possible, introduce other characters. I'm saying, instead of put him on a team, if you want to have another book with Deadpool in it, because there's so much fucking Deadpool in this. And I see they want to do Hollywood Deadpool in this main book and all this stuff, which I have a whole nother problem with. But for this book, Deadpool definitely doesn't fit. He doesn't fit with this team.
Deadpool doesn't fit in anybody's team because he is not a superhero. The whole concept of him, he's called the Merc with a mouth. He's a mercenary.
Yeah.
When the smoke clears, he just has guns and swords. Like, let's keep it 1,000 here. What is that gonna do against Thanos? Like, Thanos will be like, nigga, get the fuck out of here. Like, which is also a big thing. I think they kind of like tied it up recently that I always said for years. There's a big story arc that Marvel kind of forgot was that Thanos hates Deadpool.
Hates Deadpool.
And like of all the characters in the universe, he hates Deadpool. And I thought that was just a cool little thing, was that Thanos like gets bloodthirsty thinking about Deadpool because Thanos does all of this for Lady Death. Everything is because of in the Marvel universe, the Grim Reaper is a woman. And
used to be called Lady Death. Now recently they just call her Death.
Now they just call her Death. And so she didn't want nothing to do with him, and they never explained why. They never explained at first why. Like, why? He's offering all this stuff to her. And she was just like, no. And then I like that little twist that you find out later is because she's in love with Deadpool. And Deadpool is just this mercenary. But anyways,
and what is up? Shout out to M. Roar in the house, Nightmare Lord. Thanks for tuning in.
What's good?
These are other folks that I have from other games. Marvel, Smash, things of that nature, you know. Good old gaming world. What is good? Is that like an official Deadpool power? Breaking the fourth wall? Breaking the fourth wall is something that's always been attributed to not Deadpool's powers, but his level of insanity.
I've always liked that you know, he is aware of our presence. And because he is actually insane, which is something that I'm hoping you new Deadpool fans, you know who you are. That's something that I don't know if the movies are gonna go with or they're gonna roll with, is that he is insane. He's nuts. And because he is insane, he recognizes our presence. And he talks to us in the comic book, but the people in the Marvel universe are not aware that they're in a comic book, so they just think he's crazy. They're like, oh, that's just Deadpool. He just talks to himself sometimes.
So it's like super sanity. Like,
exactly.
He's so sane, he's insane.
Exactly. But breaking the fourth wall has always been a thing. I believe one of the first and most popular to do it was the John Byrne She-Hulk run. Mm-hmm. She-Hulk did it a lot. She-Hulk was originally supposed to be a comedy book, but it's advanced into something else. I really hope they do She-Hulk in the movies. I understand why they haven't done a new Incredible Hulk movie yet. Everyone's like, oh, because it didn't do well. No, it did alright. It made its money back, which is all it takes to make a sequel. Just make your money back.
And they made a sequel. They were able to make a whole nother movie.
What are you talking about? With Incredible Hulk?
They made 2 Hulk movies.
No. We don't talk about the first one that doesn't exist. The one that Ang Lee did.
It was a terrible movie. But it still, even that movie still made it.
It still made its money back.
Green lit. I mean, a Hulk movie that bad. Enough to green light.
Well, yeah, because that was back in the days when people didn't know how good these comic book movies could be. Right. Like, you gotta kind of forgive those older ones because there wasn't a foundation. Mm-hmm. Now there's a foundation, which is to me why I say Fantastic. I'm not even gonna call it Fantastic Four. I'm gonna call it Fantastic. Why Fantastic is the worst comic movie of all time? Because there is a foundation now. Marvel's been showing y'all niggas how to do this shit for 8 years, son.
It's true.
Like longer. Like Marvel's laid this foundation down. 2008, B. Yep. And you niggas can't get this right still? Like, it's kind of like there's no excuse for this now. Like, there's no excuse for this now. That's why I say Fantastic is the worst. Even though some could argue that others are worse. But in their defense, there wasn't a real foundation laid. Like, you could just pretty much slap a name on anything, say it's a comic book movie, and it will do well. Yeah. But nowadays, you can't do that because now the bar's set up. Now there's a bar. There wasn't a bar back then. Now there's a bar. And you have to surpass this bar. I don't even try.
Or at least meet the bar. I mean, get close. Like, recognize that there is a bar. Before I didn't even know they were showing up, they were like, "Oh, there's a bar here."
Oh man,
we're in limbo. We're not really sure what's going on.
Like I said, I knew that movie was going to be bad.
To get you said something earlier that I can, because I'm such a Thanos and Deadpool, 2 of my favorite characters in all universes. Because you said something earlier that I don't think has been properly fleshed out in the Marvel Universe.
What's that?
Of why Deadpool, or why Lady Death likes Deadpool over Thanos. And you have to understand when you look at Thanos and Lady Deadpool's relationship, Thanos is a weapon. Thanos is essentially, at least have I always felt, Thanos is being groomed to become death. Thanos is like they've said before, Thanos is an avatar of death, so on and so forth. So Thanos is always searching for death. And I think one of the things that has made Thanos who he is that in Thanos' quest for love, he's found death. And as an avatar of death, you can't think of death as something bad.
Right.
Death is a joy. And I think if you go back and read a series called Earth X, they explain this very well in an alternate universe where death is a grace. To imagine living forever with your body decaying, destroying, is a horror to a degree. So death is almost like a peace.
Right.
So I think Thanos' journey and his desire for this power, but how he always stops himself, is a reflection of how he's being groomed to understand death is necessary.
Yes.
But it's a labor of love. Yeah. There's more to death than just nihilism, to just annihilating things. And Deadpool, the reason why I think Death is fascinated with Deadpool is Deadpool teeters a line that nobody else does, in that he's always hanging on the edge of death.
Right.
In his infinite life is nothing but pain and torture, almost like he's constantly dying. And because he's aware of so much, he's able to communicate with Lady Death as he passes back and forth. So it's almost like a super tease to Lady Death, where it's like you have this being that is right there yet out of your reach, where Lady Death, I mean, Thanos was able to die from jump.
This is true.
You know what I mean? She's the one who gave Thanos this level of immortality. Not necessarily, I believe, because she wanted to punish him or she wanted him like it, but because she understands that, you will do more as this weapon, as this avatar for death.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying.
Anything else, where Deadpool, he brings death at, varying degrees and everything, but like you said, his as a person is death. To that degree, he's dying constantly.
Exactly,
he's
but not all the way.
There. Exactly,
he's dying all the way, but not ever.
Yeah, constantly going over, and then coming back,
and then just coming right back.
Over. So he's such a unique being in the universe
to her, because she can never have him
that far.
Because Wolverine's died.
Yeah.
Like fuck. I mean, they did one of the best Wolverine story arcs I ever read was when Wolverine died, and he went to hell, and he had to like fight all the people that he killed. That was like a cool little story arc, including like a version of Sabretooth, Cyber, like all these bad guys were like came back to get him, came back to fight him when he got sent to hell, and then he came back, and this group who sent them there. God, this was so well written. The group that sent, you never knew who the group was that sent him to hell. You're like, who are these group? They're called the Group of the Right Hand, and basically they were every person that Wolverine accidentally killed in his life, a family member.
Is there a dimension that can hold that many people?
It was Marvel.
Do they have to expand the universe just a little bit to contain everybody Wolverine's killed?
And if someone who is watching this who thinks, first of all, let me tell you something. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. Let me just throw that out there. So if you know something that I don't, please feel free to comment. Let me know. I'm that type of dude. You can correct me. Just don't be a dick about it, but just be like, no, actually, it's this. I'm all for absorbing knowledge. You know, we can each one teach one.
That's how we learn.
Each one teach one. That's how I feel. So if you know this, I don't, because I know my shit ton, but I don't know everything. I don't know if Marvel's ever fully established. Is limbo just hell, or is there a limbo and a hell? And if there is a limbo and a hell, what's the difference? Like they've established there's a limbo. But then Thor is talking about hell. I'm like, wait, what the hell is that then? And then there's what's her name? Hela, the queen of hell, which is Loki's daughter. Which I'm wondering if that's because they just casted what's her name? I think Kate Blanchett for the Thor movie. I'm wondering if she's either Enchantress or Hela. Like she could be Hela because it's called Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
And for those who don't know, Ragnarok is the Norse god term for the death of the gods.
Yes.
So pretty much Thor's dying in the next movie. Spoiler.
At least gonna go.
Thor's gonna die. Like there's no way around this. It's called Ragnarok. But anyways, I mean, my rumor, you know, I got a lot of people who give me rumors and stuff. Rumor has it Thor's gonna die the next movie. Thor. Cap is supposed to die, and Bucky's gonna take up the mantle. Bucky's gonna die to it's Kate Blanchett. Bucky's gonna die, and you know they're gonna do a whole new Avengers team because Marvel has to get Phase 4 going. They got up to Phase 3 done, but I highly doubt they're done after that. Now they gotta prepare the next universe, so that's why we're gonna have the Ant-Man and Wasp, which I'm glad they're making a sequel to that because I thoroughly enjoyed the Ant-Man movie. They're doing the Ant-Man and Wasp movie. They're doing. They got Black Panther coming. We got Captain Marvel. And if you're watching this and you want to comment, name who you would think would be a good Captain Marvel. Excuse me. I want Charlize Theron. To me, she is Captain Marvel. I can see her as Carol.
Charlize Theron.
I want Charlize Theron.
Okay.
I want her.
I like her as an actress.
Okay.
I think she could do a phenomenal job.
Okay. But I hear a butt coming.
What do you think? Not even a butt.
Okay.
Just what do you think? Because this was tossed around for a good while, had a lot of internet buzz. What do you think, even though she recently got her ass handed to her?
Oh,
Ronda Rousey? Because she was in The Expendables. She's been looking to do more media, and she's younger, she's brash, she could potentially do the fight scene, any fighting scenes.
She's not a good actress.
You just don't think she's
not a good actress.
Okay.
Stick to fighting.
Okay.
Be the master of that thing. You ain't gotta be. People they want that movie money. She was in Fast and Furious 7. She's in Furious 7, so I'm pretty sure she got a good check for that.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, I could just do this instead of getting kicked in my face. Fuck yeah.
I mean, shoot, 2 of those movies, and plus she can just take an action star role with doing no action.
I mean,
stay in shape.
I mean, no, seriously. And I don't know, man. So I don't want her. She's also hella small. She's like tiny, but I like I want Charlize Theron. I think that I think that she would do a good job for that. Also, homegirl that was in that one movie, the movie with oh my god, Tom Cruise.
It's a lot of movies.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Have you seen Edge of Tomorrow?
Yeah, I can't. What's her name? Oh god.
Oh my god.
What's her
Okay.
name?
Okay.
She's
I'm looking her up. But if you watch her in that movie, because here's the thing, the person who plays Captain Marvel, she's military. Mm-hmm. She's military, so she needs to be military tough.
Well
she needs to be
as somebody.
Oh, it's Edge, not Age. Sorry,
my bad.
No,
you gotta. I've worked with the military quite a bit.
Okay,
she's Air Force. You don't have to be that tough to be Air Force.
I disagree. You don't have to be a woman and make it to lieutenant.
You just need to be smart. And I think that's one of the things that they might push for versus the tough exterior is the intelligent factor. Get somebody smarter, some fighting, some degree, but you got to remember she's going to be a powered hero. Mm-hmm. So the fighting, I think the toughness doesn't have to be as much as the intelligence. And then, of course, if we're going true Captain Marvel, we have to also introduce the Kree. We have to.
Well, they've already started introducing the Kree.
But I'm saying we have to continue that. So the more intelligent versus the more brash, I think would take more presence in a movie.
Mm-hmm. Emily Blunt's her name, by the way.
Okay, Emily Blunt. Yeah, she's been popular recently.
Yeah, she's been doing her thing, especially since that movie. Because she's like a pretty girl, but she played a tough role.
All right. So I do have somebody in chat right now who is in the military.
Okay.
And he put exactly this. And this is what I've seen from my experience.
Okay.
Chair Force, just need a degree to be an officer, some dumbass lieutenants.
I'm gonna stay out of that one. I'm gonna stay out of that one.
Chair Force, but
I'm gonna stay out of that one.
Credit. Would you almost think? Now, here's the thing: is with us going into Phase 4.
Okay.
Do you think that they might, instead of doing the Carol Danvers Miss Marvel, do the new Miss Marvel or the new Captain Marvel? Is she going?
You're talking about Miss Marvel?
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel is Kamala Khan.
Do you think they'll they'll just scrap Captain Marvel, or do Captain Marvel the what's it
the
called?
Muslim girl?
No, Captain Marvel. Are
you talking about Genus? You talking about the male?
Yeah, the male.
No. They already said it's gonna be. That's the whole reason why they did that. It makes sense for her to be Captain Marvel. They're trying to turn her into Marvel's. Let me just say something, and I know a lot of people are gonna be excited about this. I completely agree that Marvel has fucked up when it comes, and I'm a Marvel Nazi. But as a Marvel Nazi, I probably shouldn't say Nazi that carelessly. I'm a Marvel fan. I'm a Marvel dude. I respect DC. I love a lot of shit they do. But if you ask me, I'm Marvel all the way. But but as being a Marvel fan, I can admit that they fucked up a lot. But that's okay because the first process to healing is to know where your faults are. And so Marvel has fucked up when it comes to female superheroes. They're trying to rectify that recently. I mean, there's like 1 million fucking female comic books coming out, and I'm all for it. But the fact that it's taken them this long to finally say, "Oh shit, maybe we should do something about this," the fact that it's taken them that long, is troublesome.
I have one big problem with it right now.
With what? The female stuff?
The way Marvel's doing their female superheroes. And
okay.
The problem I have is that I feel Marvel is addressing the problem and not fixing the problem. And when I say that, what I mean is that they're taking other heroes and then just putting a female version in. Rather than really creating unique, new female superheroes. So, and don't get me wrong, I think that she's a good fit for the role. But Wolverine, the new Wolverine, for example, is okay. Yeah, you guys wanted a premier female superhero, so you just made her Wolverine. When she was X-20, she had her own identity. You know what I mean? And to make her Wolverine, I get it to a degree. I get it to a large degree. I like her. If out of anybody else that was in that line, Sabretooth, Daken, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I think she fits the best. I liked her story. I liked her in NYX. I've liked her, I've liked her through her introduction into, the Marvel Universe. I thought her origin was well written, yada, yada, yada. But I think it's kind of weak that when we're seeing a lot of these heroes, you're giving them somebody else's title. You're not really you're not
giving them their own
the way you address female superheroes by saying, look, we have an idea for a new character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like most of them have what I would consider don't get me wrong. I know X-Men have done a lot with powers. They have recycled powers. They have recycled names. They have recycled story types. Like, there's nothing that they're doing that really feels new.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It feels like, okay, well, people complain about female superheroes, so now we make female. Just like with the gay. I'd hate to have to bring this up, but almost like the gay agenda. We'll just make Iceman gay.
Here's the thing. Okay. And I hope I don't piss nobody off with this. But making Iceman gay was kind of just lame to me. Because if you know anything about the character of Iceman, he's not gay. He was the man whore of the team. Like, this dude was banging women left and right.
Thank you.
Like, he was the dude that stayed having a chick on the team. He was almost the Johnny Storm of the team. He was also the youngest. And so, yeah, he was kind of like the partier of the group. And he was the youngest of the group. And he stayed getting female tail. And to make him gay, it just seemed forced. It just seemed forced.
Very forced.
But, you know, it says
both of them and both. Like,
but no, here's the thing: is the real Iceman gay now?
Yeah. Did you read the book?
Was it Uncanny X-Men number 600?
Maybe.
Okay, I have it right now. I haven't read it yet. Okay, because I've been afraid to read it.
No, go back.
Oh my gosh! So they made him gay. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But if anyone who was gonna like get mad about it and be like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with him being gay," I would feel the same way if they made Midnighter straight. It's like, no, he's gay.
That's not the character. Yeah, he's bisexual. He occasionally dips up. Like, no, he's gay.
Oh, he's
comfortable
gay.
with the fact that he's gay.
Exactly.
I have no problem. North Star.
No
problem with it.
Yes.
No
I
problem.
really like it if they made North Star straight. I'm like, no, he's gay.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I have no problem with gay characters at all. Love it.
Me neither.
It doesn't matter. But when you change a character after such a long... I mean, what is X-Men, like 1963?
Exactly. Like, 40, 50 plus years, man.
We're talking about now, if anybody really wants to get a kid... Like, if I'm a new comic book reader, I'm reading Iceman. I read a current issue episode. I'm jumping now. Okay, Iceman's gay. I want to know more about his character. You mean he hasn't been gay for like 40-something years? Now, that's going to change my entire outlook on his interaction situation. I'm going to think... Wow, dude, this kid's trying so hard for being gay all the time. You know, it changes who the base of the character was when you go forward. Instead of, like I said, why don't you make a new character
and just make him gay?
Just make a new character, make him gay, make him transgender.
What's wrong with that?
Whatever.
Like, I don't see the problem with that.
But,
here's something I'm gonna say, and I've noticed this a lot, especially on Twitter, especially old. I could just tell, like, a new comic book fan and shit. I'm gonna say something, and you know, I don't. You know me. I don't hold my tongue back when it comes to shit. I don't need a character to be like me to relate to him.
True.
I don't need the character. If I was a gay man, I don't need for him to be gay for me to like the character.
Right.
If I don't need a character to be black for me to relate to that character.
Right.
Do we need more diversity in comic books? Absolutely. And they're starting to rectify that, which is a good thing. I'm all for it. But me personally, as just a fan of good storytelling, I don't need that character to be like me for me to relate to them. And that's something I'm concerned, because I feel like a lot of people are trying to push their agenda into comic books. Like, because they need a character like that, then that's just the way it should be. And I'm like, well, why don't you do your history and discover a character? Because there's thousands and thousands of characters. Why don't you find the character that you can relate to without having to change the ones that are popular?
Right.
That's my argument. Like, why don't you do that instead?
See, and I'm in the same book, because I've always felt that I read comic books for the fantasy. I don't read them to say, hey, this is about, like, look, you have superpowers. Automatically, you're in a fantasy world. And I like the idea of being able to jump into a world where I don't know what to expect.
Exactly.
They say, I don't want to read somebody with my same problems, like, oh, damn, dude, I want to buy this game, and I got to pay P&G bill.
I mean,
like, that's not an interesting book.
I'm like, I've never read a comic book, so that I could relate to a character. The whole point was to escape reality, not relate to it. That's what I did. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I can't speak for no one else. I can't speak for no one else. But me personally, as a guy that spends probably $100 a week on comic books, I don't go in there and look for the straight male black characters. I don't need to do that. I don't. But like I said, but when it comes to diversity, do we need more? Yes. And they're trying. We got Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. We got Black Panther who is coming out. We got Power Man and Iron Fist. They're like, okay, here you go. This is great stuff. The Ultimates book. Have you read Ultimates, my nigga?
Yes.
If that, I feel like when I read that book, I just have a black power fist up the whole fucking time when I'm reading this book, because I'm like, wow, this is like seriously. If anyone complains about diversity in comic books and isn't reading this Ultimates comic, shut the fuck up.
I have read it.
Shut the fuck up.
Both 2 issues now, right?
Yeah,
we got 2 issues of it. Yes, 2 issues, 1 storyline, both issues really good, and I think they hit. This is something I've been talking about. Matter of fact, my man Task here and I have talked about a number of times, and I even see a posting here, academics. I haven't felt that Marvel, and it's not necessarily I haven't felt that Marvel not necessarily has a problem with diversity, but giving diverse characters good powers. Because when you look at a lot of the superheroes, like you look at the premier ones right now, Luke Cage, Black Panther, you essentially have the same superhero powers. I know Black Panther does different things, but you're basically strength. You're basically a brute. You're basically a street level fighter. Like, they didn't have anybody coming out with, powers to bend, time and space to
but
a different reality power.
But they
were giving them spotlight like they are in the Ultimates.
Right.
I get what you're saying. You're having now a flexible team that is a diverse team. You're having a team that has multiple powers across the spectrum.
And to me, what I'm getting off of it so far, and and it's looking that way so far, and I see academics says on here to make more black superheroes. Yeah. Absolutely, and that's something. If you're reading the newer stuff, that's what they're doing. And to me personally, I would rather have a black superhero with his or her own thing than to just throw her on top of another character. I remember when they killed Ultimate Spider-Man, when they killed Ultimate Peter Parker, and I went to A1 Comics to go get my comics, and there was news people there, and of course they're interviewing every black person who walked in there. Everybody was walking in like, yeah, we got our own superhero. That shit was pissing me off. I'm like, none of you niggas read the books because none of you niggas don't even know who Black Panther is, and we'll talk about that later. I want to get on that, but I walked in and they asked me what I thought about it. I said I think it's bullshit. And they were like, get this guy. They shoved the camera in my face, and I said, I like Miles Morales, but did Peter Parker have to die? Like, seriously, take everything about Miles Morales, don't change nothing, but just give him his own power, his own suit, his own abilities. Give him that instead. Now he's his own character. Because when the smoke clears, when people think Spider-Man, they ain't gonna think Miles Morales.
I'd almost say for them, I get what they were trying to do, and I think it's almost more marketing than it was character based.
Exactly. It's all about trying to make money.
But at the same time, that is so they can name the character Spider-Man. For example, if they would have given him another name, like you remember, and she's come up every now, I believe it's pronounced Aranya. Yeah.
Spanish.
Do you remember her?
Oh yeah,
remember she had a cool kind of little run. It was interesting. The power set was different. They had a little more mystical kind of background.
Let me ask you something. Did you read Spider-Verse recently?
Yeah.
Okay, so you noticed they brought it back.
I noticed they brought it back a few times. Because remember she who was she partnered up with?
She's partnered with Spider-Woman.
Spider-Woman.
She's partnered with the other Spider-Woman, the one that became Madam Web.
Jennifer Carpenter.
Yeah. Yes. She became Madam Web.
Yeah. So they bring her up from time to time, but because she wasn't Spider-Man,
right?
She couldn't, they gave her short runs.
Right.
And they canceled her out. They kind of pushed her to the back when she did. So, they didn't flesh the character out very well. They even had a comic book where she met Spider-Man for a little bit, trying to tie her in a little bit more. But it's like, you guys didn't write her, and I think you were hinting at, Miles still wasn't an originally written character.
Right.
You're Spider-Man.
Right.
That's what they did with you. They put you in the wake of Spider-Man. They gave you Spider-Man's name, basically the same costume.
Yes.
They didn't make you into, which technically you're closer like a chameleon because you always use invisibility stuff. But
I like that they tried to give him a little bit more to not just make him. This is Negro Spider-Man. They tried to give him a little bit more. Exactly, especially in Spider-Verse, and now like the Spider-Verse is now
Spider-Man.
I like them though. I like that. Spider-Verse was my shit. Like that to me was the best Marvel story arc since Civil War. I say that to this day. I said Spider-Verse was kicking everybody, was firing off of all cylinders. But anyways, I get what you're saying, but I'm just like I would be more interested in the character having his own thing. Like having his own power, doing his own thing, instead of just them just okay, how about we just make Spider-Man? Because like you said, Aranya was never ever the fully fleshed out because she wasn't Spider-Man. But then again, neither was Miles Morales because he was just in the Ultimate Universe, which ended up just getting canceled in the first place. So they still had the regular Peter Parker. I would have just been like, why do the characters I love and grew up with have to die? I'm like, why don't we just create a brand new one? There's plenty of them. There's plenty of black characters that no one uses to this day. This is what I'm telling people. You guys want us to change the races. I'm like, what about the characters that are there? Who the fuck knows about Static Shock? Static Shock! And you can't say, I really support Static Shock, because when New 52 came out, they gave Static Shock a book and y'all niggas didn't read it.
I was surprised Static Shock didn't last as long as
Nobody read it.
Nobody read it.
And this is my argument. This is my argument. You want them to make more comic book characters with black characters. Okay, well, why don't you support the ones that are there? And there are some that are there.
And I think, and that's what I'm saying. I think because the Ultimates has that more interesting team, like Blue Marvel, I think is.
Oh, I love Blue Marvel. I'm glad they kept him around. Character. I'm glad they kept him around.
America, my girl,
Miss America.
Miss America. I like her as a female character. Mm-hmm. I like her attitude. I like her power set is unique. You know, it's unique enough that it's like it doesn't feel like you're a bunch of other characters.
Miss America reminds me of a DC character. And the reason why I say that, this is one thing that I think that Marvel has fucked up with a lot, is that a lot of the DC characters feel like a lot of Marvel characters, their power set they feel like they need to explain why their powers are like this. They need full explanations. Miss America doesn't really have an explanation. She could just teleport. She also has strength in flight. Why? Because why the fuck not? Because why not? That's why.
You know why? Because she got brown skin, man.
Shout out to my Puerto Ricans, shout out to my Puerto Ricans out there. Brown powder.
She got a good tan, you know what I mean?
But one thing I like about Miss America is that I've always said this, like, we have all these superheroes. Where's the hood superhero? Yeah. Where's the one from the block?
Yep.
Where's the one that's from the streets? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I like about her. I'm like, she has that hood attitude. Like, I will just knock the fucking shit out of you. Like I watch shit like Maury. And I watch shit like that. You see them girls going crazy, like, oh, slap that hoe. I'm like, what if one of those got superpowers? What if one of those, like, just straight hood chicks from the block
punches Dr. Doom? Wall star.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I see her doing shit like that, and I'm hoping that's where they go with her. I think that's cool, because let's just be honest, there are people like that out there. Yeah. Some people be like, "Oh, this is a stereotype." There are people that exist. Yeah. That's out there. That's what's in the world.
It almost makes no sense for them to constantly write characters who, anytime they get powers, they blatantly decide good guy or bad guy, and then act accordingly. Like exactly, you could be a good guy or bad guy, but not forget who you actually are, not change your personality based on, oh my lord, I can punch through dimensions. As a matter of fact, I'd probably become more of an asshole if I could punch through dimensions.
Seriously. I like that she has to push through too. Like, I think that's a cool little thing they did to it. And I like that they just don't really explain much. Why? Who gives a shit? Exactly. That's one of the reasons why I love about the Authority. The Authority was super powered characters that had all these crazy powers. Why? Who cares? Who gives a shit? I don't need their backstory. I don't need to know why they're the way they are. I don't need to know what happened. All I know is that they're here. The world is fucked. Go. Like, go. I don't need backstory. Yeah, I read an old Rowan Ellis interview. And he said that was one of the worst things that happened when he left the Authority, was that they felt like they had to flesh out the characters. And he was like, that's not the point of the authority.
Not at all.
The point of the authority wasn't to flesh them out. The point of the authority was superheroics. That's it.
Ass kicking issues.
Yes.
Like, how hard could somebody get their ass kicked?
Seriously, how many different ways can I just fuck up everything? And one thing I love about Warren Ellis is that he is, like, to me, the master of superheroics. He takes people's powers and make you think of just how powerful they really are. And it's to a point where they're almost kind of scary. One of my favorite moments in The Authority was when they had to go to the moon. And the engineer character, there's a character in the team, she can create anything out of liquid metal. So she created a little spacesuit for her to go to the moon. So she made the little breathing apparatus with oxygen and everything in it. So she's breathing and she's on the moon. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm on the moon. And then Apollo, who's pretty much Superman on the team, just lands on the moon next to her and like, what's up? What's good?
Yep.
And she's freaking out a little bit. She's like, how are you able to talk? How are you able to talk to me right now? And he's like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, I have an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
Like, how do you breathe? And he just says, oh, I don't.
I mean, like, it's kind of one of those things where you have to ask yourself. First of all, we're standing on another planet.
Yes.
You flow through space.
Yes.
Yeah, you start to question in a moment, like, wait a minute, how is all this happening? Because, like you said, she's mechanical.
Yeah, she had to completely create
there's
something.
There's a science, there's a technical thing,
Yeah.
and then you have this godlike looking being with a halo.
And he just lands. He's like, what's good?
What's up?
And then and that's good because I like the science hero versus the godlike hero, and that's kind of what it was. They were kind of clashing. Like she was just she's a scientist, an engineer, so she just had to ask. She was just like, wait, how are you doing this? And he's like, how am I doing what? Like, it's so natural to him. He honestly didn't know what she was talking about. Like, and it makes you ask the question: does Superman need to breathe?
Yeah. And what?
Like, does he need air?
With everything he can do, why would he?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like that little aspect that Warren Ellis threw in there. Was that, yeah, he was like, yeah, I don't need to breathe. Like, I don't need to. Why would I breathe? Like, I don't need to. And she was like, you don't need to breathe? And he just says, well, I look kind of silly trying to breathe up here. Like, that's just a scary thought if you think about it. He doesn't need to breathe.
And then that gives you also that extra look into the godhood of that hero, where you don't ask yourselves those kind of questions. You don't need to know that kind of questions. You are that aware of how powerful you are that you just simply do.
Right.
And I think that's, like you're saying, that separation between almost humanity and that next level hero, where you have engineered a way for you that you understand to become X powerful, but this being simply is.
Yes, exactly.
Just is like what? I mean, that's a whole nother level, and for that being not to even have any concept of why would I breathe? It's space.
Seriously, like it's like he doesn't need to, and that's one thing I just love that Warren Ellis did when it comes to superheroics. But we got way off subject. But anyways,
I think we were talking about like Squadron Supreme.
Yeah, we were talking about Squadron Supreme like an hour ago. But anyways, I'm all for. Speaking of the Authority, the Squadron Supreme to me reminds me of the Authority. Like the way they just came and just fucked shit up, and people were like, I read the comments because people was getting very bad scores. Like people were like not feeling how the new run is, how they are.
I'm in that same boat, and
okay.
I'm in, but I'm out. And I'm in only because, and this has nothing to do with the team, I'm in only because of the Authority. Because I want this book to be like the Authority.
To me, that's where it's going.
Jenny Sparks Authority run. But here's why I say it can't. And here's why, where we kind of were like about an hour and a half ago. The reason I say it can't, they're setting up for different is, number one, you took one of the biggest hits. I can't imagine them hitting anybody else big right now from the universe. So I think if you wanted to continue it out and let them have a decent fleshed out run, you would have had them hit somebody even big like Magneto or somebody, where you could still hit somebody else.
Yeah.
But hit somebody big first. So you kill somebody off big. You go through. You start to gain the attention. By the end of this first episode, they've killed Namor.
Yep.
And they're already now wanted by the new current Uncanny Avengers team, which is the Steve Rogers premier team. Steve Rogers.
Can you pull that picture up of their team of the Uncanny Avengers team? Look at this team.
Okay, now
who on this team can stop Hyperion?
Okay, no, I can flesh this whole battle out for you right here. Okay, so number one, Hyperion. We'll hit your big gun first.
Okay.
So Hyperion.
Okay.
Rogue. You know that's exactly who they're going to put up there because they've gone so far with fleshing out now. Rogue doesn't even really technically get 50%. She's almost as powerful as some of the actual beings that they're fighting. Yada yada yada.
They fucked the world up.
They've really ruined Rogue, but Rogue is that character that's going to take on Hyperion. She's going to have trouble adjusting to the power first.
How?
Yada yada yada.
How?
She's going to touch Hyperion.
She has to touch him?
Yeah.
You think he's going to let her touch him?
He's a physical character.
She could just I-beam her.
He could. They don't write it like that. You're writing realistically.
No, here's what I'm saying. No, let's take what you're saying.
Minutes, if we're thinking that way, Hyperion's already taken over the planet. Good game.
That's what I'm saying. That's my whole entire point. And this is what I call, this is what I've been saying for years. I call it the Thor complex. And the reason why I call it the Thor complex is that Thor, in the comic books, is so much stronger than anyone else on the team. That if there's a being that can take out Thor, he should be able to take out every other member, no problem.
Right.
No problem. Same thing with Hyperion. Like, you gotta be able to fight him. Rogue can't fight him.
Okay, well, here's where you're going to back up my point with that argument. Okay, so Rogue, Hyperion, that's how this is going to go. As a backup to Rogue, Hyperion will probably be Hammond. Because Hammond's going to take personal the whole Namor thing. From there, we go to the other team member, the other guys they got on their team. Let's go with the Blur.
Okay.
The Blur versus Quicksilver is a no-brainer. That's the way it's going to have to happen.
They're going to make Quicksilver win.
And I hope not, because Quicksilver sucks. But that's just because he's like the crappiest speedster in all speedster categories.
Why?
I don't know why. They just ruined his character so often. Because I wanted to like Quicksilver, but he's always been a complaint. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Anakin Skywalker in the prequel Star Wars movie, where it's always complaining. It's always these daddy issues, and now he doesn't even have his dad. Which we tumbled off earlier with. If you didn't tune in, he doesn't have his dad anymore. Yada yada yada. It's stupid, but that will be that fight, and I think I agree with you. They're gonna make Quicksilver win to a degree. Then we have, I think, this is Doc Voodoo?
Brother Voodoo,
my bad. Whatever. Brother Voodoo, a.k.a. black version of Doctor Strange, which got to be Voodoo.
Well, they kind of got him away from that.
They're helping it out, but didn't he hold the amulet?
He was the Sorcerer
Supreme, and then apparently, like any black guy, got fired. He went back to the old play. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to die too far off. But him versus Prism. I mean, that's fairly almost no-brainer. Then you have Captain America versus Synapse, and I think the way they want to try to I'm sorry, Synapse and Captain America versus
Nighthawk.
Well, I think that what they're going to try to do is it's going to be those two versus Zarda and Nighthawk, and that's only because they don't have another power character on their team. You know what I mean? And then they don't have a Brain or somebody on the Nighthawk / Batman level to fight him other than, Cap. So you have to get in Zarda's head, and you have to have somebody good enough to be able to fight Nighthawk. But their only advantage right now is that they have more people on their team.
Who, the Avengers?
5 versus, It's 5 versus, because Spider-Man left. Spider-Man's like, look, dude, I'm not even going to be in this.
Matter of fact, that's covered as him leaving the group. That's him saying, I'm out.
And that's only because I'm thinking of it the way Marvel would have written. Now, if we want to be practical, Zarda kills everybody on the team alone. That's
what I'm saying. I'm like looking at this,
fight here.
And I'm just kind of like, how are they not just going to whoop the fucking shit out of them?
Yeah.
Because for them to be able to beat the Squadron Supreme, that's just like saying that team can beat the Justice League.
Yeah.
And it's like that team ain't beating the Justice League.
And here's where the whole thing gets fucked.
Okay.
They've been building Deadpool so negatively in the book. Only of nobody wants to be on the team, nobody wants to be in. They're going to be getting messed up, and Deadpool's going to be the catalyst to hit Nighthawk, who's going to be the center or the brain of the team. He's going to be that X factor, I think, to hit one of them, because you can't think Deadpool out. You can't figure out Deadpool. Deadpool is a logical whole. Deadpool is, you apply. If you got photographic reflexes, you can't copy Deadpool.
I can see Deadpool taking out Nighthawk. That I can agree with. That I can agree, only because Nighthawk has never fought anything like Deadpool.
And the Uncanny Avengers have the slight numbers.
And the numbers.
That's the only thing. And then you have to think of Marvel writing.
Well, yeah. Well, I also want to say, I have to agree with you. They completely fucked my girl Rogue up. First of all, Rogue is not an Avenger. I don't care how hard you try to push this agenda, how hard you're trying to push this.
We just want to get her in a movie, please.
Rogue is not an Avenger. She's an X-Men. That's number one. Number two, I'm mad that they took away her Miss Marvel powers. I love that she was the flight and the strength. Mm-hmm. I like that. But does she have Wonder Man's powers right now though? I think she has Wonder Man's powers right now.
Yeah, she has Wonder Man's in her head too. So
yeah, so she has Wonder
Man's been Carol Danvers.
Okay, see, exactly. And so, okay, I'm with that. I had a thing that I pitched to Marvel, and I actually had someone respond back to me and said they liked it. I said her name is Rogue, so let her be Rogue. I like the idea. This is my pitch to Marvel for Rogue, that she can access any power she's ever touched. Ever. She can go back. For a second, she could be the Hulk. For a second, she could be Magneto. For a second, she could be Wolverine. Like, she can be anything. But the problem is that when she does that, she becomes... So, like, when she's Magneto, she's kind of evil. When she's Hulk, she's fucking raw. She's hulking out.
You seen iZombie? Where she eats the brains and kind of takes on part of the personality, kind of like that.
But they've
already done that with Rogue.
Exactly, that's what Rogue was, and that's one thing I liked about that. I think X-Men has gotten far away from was that one thing I liked about Rogue was that her powers were fucked. Like, yeah, she can do all these great things, but she can't touch nobody ever. Like, that to me is great. That was one thing I liked about the X-Men, where that they were flawed. They were all flawed as shit. Each one of them. That was why they were with Xavier. Xavier was helping them. Like, Wolverine was fucked up in the brain, killing motherfuckers, didn't know his background. Fucking Gambit is a thief. Gambit's not a good dude. That's one thing I always liked about the Gambit character. Because when the smoke clears, Gambit's the dude on the team that will just kill everybody. Like, why are we even, like, saving people? Like, I'm just gonna kill every bad guy. You get a card to your face. He's a thief.
It's true.
He doesn't give a shit about your life. He's like, fuck that. I don't care. I'm not here for that. But anyways, back to this. I'm gonna be reading the issue. I hope it's good.
Same here. I mean, I don't have much faith in it being, because I hate this Uncanny team. If anything, this is what I would have wanted to see. Okay. I would have wanted to see a 5-issue fleshed out where they're going and killing Atlantean, like, high level Atlantean. Kill Atuma, make that a pretty decent fight, but end them pretty well. Bring back some of the other big Atlantean characters over time.
Orca? Oh yeah, Orca's dead.
Yeah,
I was like, where's Orca?
They just had a universe reboot, so they could be flexible with it. But
the universe didn't reboot.
But here's the thing. Let's
be honest.
But Secret Wars hasn't even ended yet. We don't even know.
Oh god.
Yeah, a whole other topic. But as far as we understand now, what I would have wanted to see, take not the same team, take the Ultimates team, 5 issues in after they killed Namor, and give me a 5-issue crossover arc versus 2 high-powered teams. From that, so once you have their initial conflict, I would almost have Steve or Rogers come in. Hey, could you guys do me this favor? I would stick my team on it. We're not powerful enough. They've teamed with Hyperion. You understand how frightening this character going mad is. The whole Superman flipping complex.
Yes.
Give me another 5 issues where they basically work their way into the team, potentially take out or capture one character, take out or capture, divide and conquer until they find out. Have the initial clash, and instead of having a winner or a loser, because both teams are extremely powerful, have it basically be like, we need something else for you to do. And because the new Ultimates team is already on that galactic level after, what they've done in 2 issues, which, all in comics it hasn't been done.
I hope Galactus is on the team, because they keep showing him. They keep showing pictures of him. I hope he's on the team. Like, I hope he...
Got Galactus on my back, yo.
Yeah, like, dude, like, who's gonna fuck with this team? Like, oh shit, they got a World Eater.
I don't know about you, but I want the black guys on my team.
I'm saying
they hit the heavy hitters, you know what I mean?
And you can tell that's a sciencey book, because Black Panther didn't do anything Black Panther-y-ish. No, other than just being super intelligent, which I'm all for it.
And I think what they did is they went back to where Black Panther actually, I think, had a good run when they were doing the Fantastic Four as the type of character that is that brain.
Yeah, he's
showing,
the brain.
Hey, look, Reed Richards isn't the only one with that level of intelligence. Dr. Doom's not the only one who has a cross between the mystical and the scientific.
Right.
And
exactly.
I think they're bringing him into that book for that reason, because they're really heavily powered, just like we said the Squadron Supreme is. The Squadron Supreme is, one of the best fights I think Squadron Supreme has is just versus the Squadron Supreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hyperion beats up Hyperion. That works out for them. But for the most part, I think that, that would have been a better way to take them. Because I don't think they're going to work on Earth. I don't know how they're going to do it. But you're right. Work on Earth.
You're right, because now they've introduced that there is a multiverse now. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's going to work, because I don't see, like I said that when they first announced all the books, I'm like, how are they going to have, like, 8 Avengers teams? We still got A-Force coming. Mm-hmm. Like, how are we going to have 8 Avengers teams and then Squadron? Like, I'm just like, this doesn't work. They're going to collide. But speaking of Panther, you heard who they're announcing they're going to try and get to do the movie now, right? Ryan Coogler. Same guy who did Creed. He wrote and directed that. He pitched the idea. So I didn't know all that. That he wrote that and he pitched that idea. And he used Michael B. Jordan because they also did Fruitvale Station.
Wow.
And, what better way to, like, get all the brothers on Marvel's side to have a black man write and direct it. And another reason why I'm all for it, I didn't know this. I did my research on Ryan Coogler. He is a Sac State University native.
Oh, really?
He's a graduate from Sac State. Huh? Yeah, he's from Oakland. He's from the town.
It's still.
Yeah, he's from the town.
He's from the Royal Brothers.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's from. I was like, so I can relate to this. Like, this guy. Like,
okay. I'm all for that. I'm all for
it. Like, especially knowing that he's a Sac State alumni. I'm like, so he's a local guy. Like, okay, word. Yeah. I'm really for it.
Yeah, I want to see Creed myself. I haven't seen it yet.
Creed is fantastic.
I've heard a lot of people said it's really good. I will be watching it soon.
It's great.
Matter of fact, I've been slow on movies. Just had a kid, so
congrats on that, by the way.
Yeah, it's it takes some time. Matter of fact, I'm just seeing Star Wars tomorrow. So me and my pops going all nostalgic style.
Okay. What I mean? Oh, you're going to see Star Wars tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going to see Star Wars tomorrow over at Studio Movie Grill.
I've seen it 3 times already.
You already seen it 3 times?
Yep.
Dude, if it's that good, I'm probably going to go back and see it again. No time in a week.
I'm a Star Wars junkie. I needed to make sure that I really like this film. Like, and it takes more than one filming for me.
Yeah.
It takes more than one filming for me.
I can understand that. Yeah, and, coming forward, we'll probably end up trying to do, like, specials. We'll go see Marvel movie on release, come back and talk about it, film it, and then release it a week later, let everybody have a chance to catch up, because we will not do spoilers within a week's time for anything. And anything that, all spoilers will be announced. So if we're going to talk about something, we'll let you know prior to you tuning in. All of these will be also uploaded on YouTube, so if you haven't checked it out, you can go back, once you've seen the movie or read the comic or whatever it is, then check out the podcast and discussion. And, we'll have plenty of question and answer time. So if you guys want to, ask questions about it later, we'll, at the end of podcasts and stuff, we'll take free questions and, things of that nature. And I'm open to any kind of question. I I will have any debate. I will argue Goku versus Superman because I know how the shit would happen.
Who you got?
Oh, I can tell you. Do you really want to know? Because I can tell you who and why it would happen.
Who would win?
Superman would win.
Bullshit. No, stop. Hold on. There's gonna be another episode. Let's gotta. We gotta go there. Let's go.
I can tell you right now. And here's the best part is Superman would win, and here's a caveat: he would get his ass kicked the entire fight, and he would win for reasons that make no fucking sense. That make no freaking sense. Just like how when they cross over, Superman beat up the greatest hero of his lifetime, and he did that by grabbing a mystical hammer.
Yeah, that was bullshit. Are you talking about when he beat Thor?
When he beat Thor?
Oh no, that was complete bullshit. Because if you know anything about Superman, he shouldn't be able to touch Thor, because Thor's powers are magic based.
And if you know anything about Goku, he shouldn't be able to touch Goku. But I can tell you, he won the Thor fight, and for the same bullshit reasons, he will win the Goku fight. Roar, my baby is doing good, man. She a little feisty one. She's developing quickly, but I can tell you right now, we will flesh this out. Matter of fact, I will dedicate an episode to breaking down how that fight will go, because I don't want to just go who's gonna win. This is why I will tell you how the fight will go. I will tell you every single reason why the fight is going the way it will, and why that in reality, I don't feel that Superman should win the fight. Superman only wins the fight because people don't know what Superman's true power is. And I will break that down for you.
But that's always been my complaint about Superman. What people don't understand about the whole concept of a Superman is that why he has so many powers was that the original creators who were writing him in the early 1900s, they would write themselves into corners. They would write themselves in the walls, and they didn't know how to write, how to get themselves out of this. Like, how do we get Superman out of this? He has eye beams. How do we get Superman out of this? He has frost breath. You mean
super hypnosis?
I still think the most ridiculous power, and you can Google this. This is a serious fact. The most ridiculous power he ever had was the ability to create a small Superman.
Yes.
When, just to get in the tight spaces that the big Superman can't get into for some weird reason, he would clench his fist and open, and there'd be a small Superman in his hand. And the Superman could fly, the small Superman could fly, and had the same amount of strength, same power, just smaller.
Oh, yes.
I was just like, wow, so the guy could do anything. That's why I think after Crisis on Infinite Earths, that was the best thing. They had to depower him. They had to depower Superman, because they had kind of gotten out of hand.
Yeah,
like it had
gotten out of hand. And that is the beauty and the fault of the characters, because, and this is what I would say is, I'm talking about Superman as a character overall. You have to take all of Superman into account, just like you would have to take Goku, because it's hard to really point and put either character in one point of their lifetime and say that's when you had to fight him. Because Goku goes through a number of power-ups, a number of changes. I mean, even now, he's freaking God Goku. He's got his Super Saiyan God and all this other stuff. Don't get me wrong. But this current stuff is canon now. So, you have to take it into account. Just like with Superman. I mean, he's gone up and down so much that you almost have to give them both a benefit of doubt of what is some of the craziest stuff they've seen.
Basically, this is why I will agree with you. Is that DC has laid it out that basically as long as there is a yellow sun, Superman won't lose.
You say that, but does Superman really always need the yellow sun?
Yes!
No.
That's where his powers come from.
So, you would say that, but he's the one without... Matter of fact, you would say that he has a degree of vulnerability to mysticism, right?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if he got hit by a mystic being,
Shazam.
Technically, he should get hit like a normal person would by that same mystic being, right?
Exactly.
That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
But he gets double-decker super ultra punched by Shazam like every Thursday, and he just flies across the thing. He should die. Like, he should take one hit from Shazam, and it should hit him like he's Clark Kent with no powers being hit by Superman. And
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
They take his powers, and they vary him so much. Like, sometimes he could be near kryptonite and he's like, oh, coming over. Other times, he picks it up and throws it across the planet because it's annoying him. Other times, he's shot with it and he survived for like 6 weeks.
That's just bad writing. That's just bad writing.
What I'm saying, they've done that so consistently over his lifetime that when you really break down a fight, between Superman and Person X. You have to take a median concept of what Superman's power really is, and Superman's power is not within his strength, within the yellow sun, within his random other powers. It's within his contract to win every fight he's ever in.
The DC universe exists on one principle, one principle alone. Superman can't lose. That's the principle of
Superman is the DC universe. You remember Crisis on Infinite Earths, right? They showed the base core of all universes DC. Prior to that's their first destruction. Base core was Superman. Superman Prime established, apparently to them, their entire concept of all their multiverses. All of their heroes resulted in the base of that Superboy, Superman Prime, who was the only superhero on his planet. Then
that was years ago, though.
Right, but that's when they changed every universe, and they've even said it's a convergence. This is the 8th iteration based off that first broken universe.
Yeah.
So essentially, everything that they've done is a broken version of that first thing, which means yes, Superman to them, and DC writes like this. That's the problem. Is the base character fundamental at all their universes?
Not anymore, though. Not anymore. I can honestly say that now, 100%. That Superman has been dethroned. He is no longer the dude anymore. And if you think I'm lying, look at what they're doing to the movie. I tell people, remember when Dawn of Justice was a Man of Steel sequel?
No.
Remember when it was Man of Steel 2 and featuring Batman? Then it became, oh no, it's not a Man of Steel sequel. It's Superman versus Batman. Then it became, it's not even Superman versus Batman. It's Batman versus Superman.
Yep. Yeah, that's the truth.
Then it became, it's not even that. It's the Justice League prequel. I'm like, so y'all just kicked this nigga off of his own movie?
I wonder if they're
That's
just still
fucked up.
adding people into the movie, like as we speak.
They're still filming shit.
Every time I look, it's like, okay, so now we've got Cyborg, now we've got Flash.
Not Flash.
Now we've got
I remember when they said Flash wasn't going to be in it. They said it was just going to be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and then Vic Stone was going to be in it, but not Cyborg.
Right.
I heard Vic Stone was going to be in it because they've already cast
like an
him.
Easter egg kind of.
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be a scene. He's probably going to be working at LexCorp. Like, there's going to be something like that. Booyah! And then, I don't even think they're going to do that with him. Like, oh, God.
Now Doomsday's in it.
And they completely
horrible.
Fucked that up, in my opinion. And I know there's a lot of DC heads that are going to be like, oh, that's amazing. But to me, that's not Doomsday.
Doomsday got fucked up a long time ago.
To me, that's Bizarro. Like, that should have been Bizarro. Because the whole point of Bizarro was... Sorry, y'all. I'm getting all worked up and shit. But the whole point of Bizarro is that he was Lex Luthor trying to clone Superman.
Right.
But you find out Kryptonian DNA can't be cloned, so that was the best he could do. Right. That was the best that he could create. In the new universe, he was trying to create Superman. In the new 52, he's trying to create Superman, but but something happened, and he was cloning Superman. He needed like years to clone him, and he had to release him early. Right. So Bizarro was like an undeveloped Superman with undeveloped Kryptonian. That would have been the perfect way for him to use Zod, which I honestly, in my opinion, feel like they did last minute. I feel like they did that last minute. Like,
it looked like they did that last minute.
I feel like they did that like a few months ago.
I would have looked at it and I would have saw how poorly we casted Lex Luthor, right? Because that is going to be one of the worst casting ideas since Ben Affleck. Oh, the same movie. Ain't that amazing?
Yeah, ain't that amazing? I don't know. I think Ben Affleck might do a good job. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But just looking at that Lex Luthor, even the casting, I'm like, that's not Lex Luthor. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you try to convince me. That is not Lex Luthor. That should have been the Riddler. If that was the Riddler, that would have been perfect. If that was Edward Enigma, that would have, especially the part where he said, she was like, you're a maniac. What did she say? And he was like, it's a 3-letter word built for people with brains.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a fucking Edward Enigma line.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a
That's
Riddler
funny.
line.
I was just saying, he would have been, he's playing the Riddler in a Lex Luthor costume.
In a Lex Luthor costume.
Like, it's some just horrible thing. And real quick,
and he's not even bald.
Thank you, Kev Martino. The Bizarro that you're talking about came from the Crime Syndicate saga. That's why Lex Luthor had to break him out early because of
that was because Forever. I just read that recently. Yeah. Forever Evil, where the Crime Syndicate came and got rid of all the superheroes and got rid of all of them.
Yeah, but that's why that.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Like that's the new way. But either way, Lex Luthor was the one that helped create, Bizarro. And so they did the same thing with this one, but instead he created Doomsday. I'm like, no. Yeah. Doomsday was an old Kryptonian weapon. Like, no, that's not. And I get that they're not trying to do it like the comic books. I get it. But the missed opportunity for that to just be Bizarro just upsets me.
But see, and I really think that that's one of the my problems with Doomsday being in the movie is that I think that for a long time, since after the second Doomsday arc, and I'm talking about Doomsday arc, first Doomsday arc, Death of Superman arc, JLA issues all the way up to Superman issue to his death, great arc, fantastic, best thing Superman's ever done, got himself killed. The next arc, which I thought was good, was when they gave him his little origin, the one with Wave Rider, where they go to what is it? Not Kowloon. Cauldron. Okay. And they go to Cauldron. They find Doomsday after they go to Apocalypse and find out Doomsday's alive. Yeah. And been, brought back. They find out all of his origins. They find out the only way to stop him is to send him back to the end of time. And, the 0 hour event that there was about to come. Because it was a prequel, too. You know what I mean? Something's going to happen. So that was good. After that, when they started injecting Brainiac into him, then Luthor was technically cloning him. They tried to make him smart and everything. Even when they tried to have him fight against Imperiex. World of Wars saga or whatever.
The World of Wars.
Even when they had that saga, they never got that same essence of Doomsday they had in the first two, where it was like, Doomsday don't talk, Doomsday doesn't think about stuff. Doomsday just breaks shit. That's what Doomsday is doing.
He's a weapon. He shouldn't even be able to talk.
He's not even a weapon. He is just destruction. He is the equivalent to me of a supernova. Right. There's no reason for it. There's no rhyme for it, but shit happes.
He's just here to fuck shit up. I get exactly what you're saying, and that's another thing that kind of scares me about the DC movieverse is I'm like, okay, so we're doing Doomsday already? It's the second movie, dog.
Dude, technically the first. This is like the prequel.
Exactly. No, I'm talking about it's the second movie in the DC movie universe. I'm like, we're only 2 movies in and you're already doing Doomsday? Who else is there left? Who else is there left?
Doomsday is actually probably gonna team up with like Vandal Savage.
I doubt that. I hope not.
The way they're going right now, then Suicide Squad's gonna come in, right? They're gonna be part of the movie.
Now let's talk about Suicide Squad. Now it looks good to me. My problem with it is, let's be honest here, if this movie isn't rated R, it's not going to be that good.
True.
Let's just be honest here. If it's not rated R, it's just going to be meh.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of all these people who are now all of a sudden Harley Quinn fans.
Yeah.
When did this happen? When did Harley Quinn just become just a hella extremely popular character? I'm just like people like her like she's like a good guy. Yeah. And I'm just like, do y'all forget that she's a maniac, murdering psychopath?
But are you reading her books? They're totally buying in. DC is totally modifying her character to now be more of a Deadpool kind of.
Oh no, they turned her into that Deadpool.
Yeah,
they turned her into that Deadpool.
Completely flipped her. She doesn't even really deal with Dr. J.
I was just like, Mr. J. My bad. Yeah, I got you. Does the new 52? Has she even met Joker? Like, I'm confused. The whole concept of Harley Quinn was that she was Joker's sidekick. She was the female Joker.
Joker broke her. Exactly. Like Batman trained Robins.
Exactly.
And that's supposed to be like where Joker's psychosis is Batman's training. Joker Jokerized the shit out of Harley Quinn. She is that chaotic result.
Exactly.
And the idea was that when she's not with him, she just gets more chaotic, which I like to a degree with her on the suicide, the idea of letting a chaos loose character in. But like he said, now they've tried to give her all this, not necessarily personality, but all these sad desires to be a better person and regrets upon things that she's done. And for the most part, that's not who the character was.
That's not Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was a psychopathic killer. That's why she's on the Suicide Squad, which is why I'm also confused. I'm like, how the fuck does she have her own book where she's all like regretful and all this, and then she's also on the Suicide Squad? And the whole point of Suicide Squad is that these are bad guys taken out of jail to do fucked up missions, and they might just die. Like, that's the whole concept of the Suicide Squad.
And I just can't. To me, I can't see why or what they're going to do with this movie either. If it's not rated R, because how are you going to really unleash Harley?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know what I mean? If it's
Harley and Joker.
I mean, Harley. And I have hopes for this Joker.
I don't.
But I don't think he'll be good.
He looks like a juggalo.
That's my problem.
He looks like a juggalo.
I don't like the tattoos. Like, you missed the essence of Joker. Part of Joker's joke is that suit.
Yes.
That suit represents Joker's joke against high society. Those people who he's messing up, because Joker doesn't bathe. Right. Joker lives like in filth and stuff, but he always wears that suit. He's always dressed to the T. Mm-hmm. He don't miss his little cummerbund, have holes in the suit and crazy shit like that, unless he's in fight currently. Right. But he's dirty in that suit. He goes everywhere he is, and he's a performer. He looks that part. Having him be, tattooed and what is up, SoCal Iron God? Welcome. But having him be tattooed and look a certain way and like basically almost be, in my opinion, a Joker wannabe pretending to be the Joker. Like, if you guys wrote this guy and called him the Joke, and he came after like Heath Ledger's character, and he was like supposed to be just some false version of it, I get it, but I don't like what they've done with the look of that character. He might almost get it right in the acting.
I hope he does.
Nothing I like in the trailers I've seen.
I like Jared Leto. I like Jared Leto. I just, when I see that Joker, I'm not like disturbed. When I saw Heath Ledger's Joker for the first time, it disturbed me. Yeah. Like, I was like, yo, that looks fucking nuts, dude. He had like the scars and shit. Like, that to me, it disturbed me.
Yeah.
But when I see Jared Leto, he looks like a drag queen. And like, I'm just like, I'm not. And maybe the movie will make me feel better. I'm hoping it does. I'm rooting for it. I'm hoping it does well. I'm hearing that they're going to use Will Smith for the next Batman movie.
In what role? Or you talking about Deadshot? Yo, you want him in the next?
No, I heard that's where they're going. Like, I heard that they're going to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that they're going to do that the next Batman movie. Because they've already just straight up said, fuck Superman. There's not even a Man of Steel sequel announced, which to me makes me believe that Doomsday is going to kill Superman. Spoiler. In the movie.
Spoiler. Haven't seen it.
Spoiler. But if you don't know that, here's the thing. The whole point and purpose of the Doomsday character was that he killed Superman. That was the whole point of his character. If he doesn't kill Superman, then that's kind of lame. Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, then what was the point?
Yeah.
Then I'm just like, then what was the point? My other concern is, okay, goes back to my Thor theory. Like, I'm like, if Superman can't stop him, then what the fuck is Batman and Wonder Woman gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, what are they gonna do?
Well, remember, Batman would have been just fresh out of a fight with Superman, where he would have taken his new robotical suit, because that makes sense.
Oh, God.
And fought against this alien creature who beats up robots in his spare time.
But if you look, he was about to get fucked up to Wonder Woman showed up.
This isn't a Doomsday that we know either. This Doomsday apparently has optic blasts.
Which is lame. I'm like, dude, why does he have heat vision? Like, why does he have heat vision?
Why?
That's fucking stupid.
You know why? Because like you said earlier, it's technically Bizarro. But at the same time, if they just have a bad looking Bizarro, and they are smart enough to change his name, will you be okay with it?
So I'd be okay with it, but they're not. It's obviously Doomsday.
I mean, yeah, it's obviously Doomsday.
Yeah, it's obviously Doomsday.
But if they change it, would that change your feeling upon where they were going with it? Or would you still...
I would have liked Bizarro. I said it earlier in this podcast. Like, I was just like, I want Bizarro. I want Bizarro. Like, that would have been perfect. That's what I said. It upset me because I'm like, you guys completely missed an opportunity to do Bizarro. Instead, you're doing this fake Doomsday that's probably going to get his ass kicked. I don't know how, but this is the guy that killed Superman. This is the guy that killed. He successfully did it. So now he's just gonna get his. I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm just like, I want to watch it either way, and I hope it's good.
You gotta see it. I mean, right now, I can tell you right now. After seeing some things where, for example, when they first said Ben Affleck's playing Batman, I saw some of the screeners. I thought to myself, okay, it's been a while since Daredevil. Maybe Ben Affleck has cleaned up his act. He can do something. And maybe that was just, maybe that's just a hard character to do. I mean, Daredevil in concept is a rough character to play. You're playing a blind guy who knows martial arts and is a lawyer. That's not the easiest character to go. Then I fucked around and caught the Netflix version of Daredevil, and I was just completely revamped. Like, holy shit, this character is amazing. This show is amazing.
I love Daredevil.
Ben Affleck just fucked it up.
That was old Ben Affleck.
Okay, old Ben Affleck.
That was Ben Affleck all up in Jennifer Lopez.
I personally don't think Ben Affleck as an actor has changed much. Now, he's a good actor, but he's only good when he's playing roles that are not somebody else. Like, he doesn't have any variation. Like, you're fairly one note. And you're like, when they showed the scene of him talking to Superman, he was not in Bruce Wayne character, and that's a big part of the Batman's character that shows me you haven't read the books. Batman, when our boy Batman is in Bruce Wayne character, he is playing Bruce Wayne. He doesn't get mad and make little quirks to, other people like, I know you're Superman, basically, and I'm talking like I'm a violent prick. Like, no, look. This is neck-snapping Superman across the
God.
You're Batman, and you should know this.
I got into an extreme argument with someone on Twitter recently about neck-snapping Superman. Like, people are really This is what scares me about DC fans. They're so willing to accept anything as long as they have something that can compete with the Marvel films. I'm like, dude, I'm not even a hardcore DC fan, but even if I was, I would have been like, what the fuck was that? So really, Superman, the guy that can catch buildings and he can do all these fantastic things, snaps a nigga's neck.
They should have just called him Hyperion. That would have.
I would have liked him if it was Hyperion. That's something Hyperion would have done. Hyperion would have snapped the neck.
Hyperion ends people.
I don't want my Superman snapping niggas' necks. I'm sorry, I don't want my Superman snapping necks. That's just me though. If you want a neck snapping Superman, by all means. To me, that's not Superman.
Your new Superman right here. You see this head on the ground? Hold on. Side real quick. You can see my boy Namor head on. This is what you're gonna see from Superman from now on, people. Superman gonna be taking off heads.
That's a good point.
Be snapping necks. He gonna be cutting off legs because
they turned Superman into Hyperion.
Yeah,
I can agree with that. They turned him into
Superman. He doesn't care anymore. Mm-hmm. He's obviously very distant. Like this. In the Man of Steel movie, this is like a super old review now, but in the Man of Steel movie, you get a very distant Superman now. Superman, unlike the Superman of the past, Superman doesn't feel connected to humanity.
Right.
And that's a big thing that takes away from him being a Superman, if you will, to just some dude who can snap necks. You know what I mean?
I just don't like the neck snap. I don't like
the neck snap, and I don't like the collateral damage thing. And I like the special effects of it, but the fact that Superman was being hit through all these buildings and wasn't even close to where, like, when he got hit through buildings, you saw people in the buildings. It wasn't like, okay, hey, look, General Wayne evacuated downtown. Yeah. These super beings are fighting, and he has that advantage. Like, no, you caused billions of dollars of damage. You took it probably good 200,000-300,000 lives. Metropolis isn't a unpopulated area,
right.
And then you didn't just snap a neck; you snapped the neck in front of an American family.
But that's my theory, and I think we talked about this outside of the podcast. This is why I hate the Superman's neck snapping. It's not that he snapped the dude's neck; it's the reason why he snapped the dude's neck. He snapped the dude's neck because he was about to kill his family. Like, all these people didn't kill. He's really focused on trying to kill this family. And Superman snapped his neck to save the family. My question is, where does it end? Okay, I'm pretty sure any bad guy he fights, he's going to be almost on the brink of killing a bad guy. on the killing an innocent family. So what's Superman gonna do? Just go around killing every villain that he fights? Like, is that what he's gonna do? Is he? Because that's what he's gonna have to do now. He has to kill everyone now.
You know what? The only way I think that would be redeemable, based off what you're saying here, because I just had the only thought that would redeem this in my mind and make me super happy is if they were building from Dawn of Justice to the End of Justice to Crime Syndicate. So neck snapping Superman now has a purpose.
He turned into Ultraman.
He just turned into Ultraman.
I almost would have liked that they would have went with the story arc for Injustice. Like, that would have led to Injustice. Because if you remember the Injustice story, the Joker convinced them to kill Lois Lane. If that could have led, to that story arc with him, becoming kind of evil, realizing, oh, this is what I need to do now. Like, okay, I guess I'm just judge, jury, and executioner. Then I would agree with that. Then I'll be like, okay, and that's what they're kind of going with. That's why Batman is mad at him, because people that he was cool with died in that fight. If you notice in the beginning of the old trailer, you see him holding someone who died, and he's looking up all angry and mean, and he's looking up at Superman fighting. Like, so that's the whole concept is that this Batman is an older Batman. He's been doing this for years, and he's been retired. So now he's coming out of retirement.
I understand. I hate the idea of retired Batman. Batman does not retire. That is a character change that when they did the Rise of Crap Bane fucked up movie. I hate that movie.
Oh, it sucks. It's so bad.
It was such a terrible movie. When I did that movie, I hated the idea of, Batman took like 10 years off and, retired and let himself go a little bit, and had to retrain. Like, look, Batman isn't a boxer who's coming back into the... Batman is Batman. Yes. Bruce Wayne is the alter ego to Batman. There is no shutting it down. The only way it would be shut down is if they came back and this new Batman was Batman Beyond. Yeah. And, the old Batman was just training, hey, look, I fell out. I had to get a new one, which is kind of what they're doing right now in the story arc with Mother. The whole, that whole concept of, I need an heir. I won't be around forever. You know what I mean? So, I think that with Batman, you have to kind of have that constant feeling of Batman. The idea of retired Batman or I'm coming back, I'm too old for this shit, Batman, is just, to me, it's ignorant of the character.
It is, because Batman would never retire.
And it doesn't bring anything to him.
It reminds me of one of my favorite Batman moments. I have a lot of favorite Batman moments, but one of my favorite Batman moments was when the Justice League from a million years in the future shows up. And they show up in our time just to say, what's up, what's good. And everyone's excited. They're like, dude, our superheroics takes us years in the future. We inspire our whole nation. We inspire all these people, blah, 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 blah. Everyone was happy except for Batman. Batman's like, this is fucking bullshit. And everyone's like, what's wrong with you, Batman? Like, shouldn't you be happy? He was like, a million years in the future. And you still need a Batman?
Yep.
Like, really? So Batman's kind of like, so why am I even doing this? Like, he started to question himself. Like, I like that. What you gotta understand about Batman is that he's fucking nuts. He's insane.
A billionaire dresses in a costume.
He's an insane person. He's not all there. He's smart as fuck. He's in shape as fuck. But is he's missing a few things. Like, he's not all there. So he would think differently from people. He would be like, what the fuck am I even doing this then? Like, if you still need me, I'm doing this so that you won't need me no more. I don't want to be celebrated. I don't want people to be like me. I don't want that. Like, I'm doing this because it needs to be done. Someone needs to do it, and I'm gonna do it until all crime is wiped out. And people keep telling him, but you can't wipe out all crime. And Batman says, watch me. Like, he's insane. He's nuts. Yep. He's insane.
And I can do this with just some martial arts training, some detective skills, and some batarangs.
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's all you really need.
Anything else we want to talk about on here?
I don't know, man.
We got kind of out of.
We've gone through it. Let's see. Get you to put a lot of good things. Human cops can still handle it, and Batman can still be lazy.
What'd he say?
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about. They're talking about how there was no cop. There was basically the idea of Batman retiring is because there was no crime in Gotham.
Exactly.
And my comment was that
it's not Gotham if there's no crime.
Exactly.
Gotham with no crime is Coast City.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Nothing happens in Coast City.
Exactly.
You gotta leave the planet if you want to crime in Coast City. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. Star City a little bit more, but you know, DC World. Now, if there's no crime, thus no Batman, there's technically no Gotham. That changes, and I would say if they did something like that, then Batman would have to have had a kid. Batman would have moved on in a way other than I'm just going to retire and hang out my house and let my body go to shit.
Exactly.
All that training that he did alone would keep him wanting to keep his body up. It's a natural feeling. It's just like people work out. They don't just stop working. I mean, if you work out professionally, you don't just stop working out one day and you be like, all right, well, you know, I'm just going to let myself go.
Right.
You may work out less, but the fact that he was walking around with a cane just says you just, you know, we didn't think this out very well. And that was shown apparently through the whole rest of the movie when basically Anne Hathaway out-acted everybody else in the movie with the role of Catwoman, which wasn't even that great. But, you know, I'm just saying, nobody else was redeeming in that movie.
That movie sucked. That movie was pretty much Christopher Nolan realizing he could do no wrong. And it was just like, and his brain was like, people have really got him thinking, I could do no wrong. So I'm gonna make a movie that makes no sense.
Yeah, no sense.
No sense.
I mean, Christopher Nolan was the kind of person who, you know, I'm surprised he didn't add Batmite to the movie. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I mean,
that would have made more sense than throwing every single person in Gotham City PD into that one area.
Exactly.
Throwing them all in there at one time. And I still, Christopher Nolan, I want an explanation for a few things. For one thing. No, there's a lot of things I want an explanation.
It's coming.
I want to know how Batman was able to get from a hole in the ground in the desert on the other side of the planet with no money, no gadgets, and get to Gotham in like a day. Explain this. I want an explanation. You about to give me a bullshit explanation. Alright, you about to give me a bullshit explanation. Go for it.
I can't even come up with bullshit.
There's no explanation for this.
That stumped me. Like I break down Goku versus Superman before I break down that kind of
I'm
shit.
just like, dude, like seriously. I'm willing to forgive that the dude healed his back by punching it.
Well, you know, I gotta think about how often does a doctor punch one of his patients who's recently paralyzed?
See, that's that bullshit answer I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to give me a bullshit answer or something. That's what the bullshit answer was there.
Getting across. The second thing was like, dude, you just began your fucking journey, bro. Like, do you know people in this country? Like, what's Alfred at the top just waiting? Like, Master Bruce will get tops of
Got the bat wing right here. Yeah. And like, how the fuck is he hiding a giant spaceship on top of a building? He's just hiding it there.
Alfred.
No one has ran across this thing. Not even maintenance.
Maybe that's what it was. Bane knew he couldn't get cell phone reception in the hole. So he left him with a cell phone the whole time. So he got out and just called Alfred like, hey, Alfred, I need you to send one of the jetliners down here. Oh, do you have one that can get across the country in like 13 minutes? Because I gotta get back.
We got things to do.
They're gonna blow up.
I just need explanations. There's a lot of things in that movie. Like, I need an explanation for this.
I mean, and that doesn't even explain why Bane talked like a girl the whole time. Like, and not even, I'm sorry, that's insulting to girls. I would say Bane talked stupid or unintelligently, but that's also insulting to stupid or unintelligent. So Bane talked like Bane, which is just terrible in itself. But why? Mess ups. That's a whole nother podcast. But I think right here, I mean, it's been a good like 2 hours and 15 minutes of just this piece of it. Not even the part that like we recorded earlier.
Jesus, so long. That's all right though.
Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, this is the first or pilot episode of Where's My Super Suit? This is the initial graphic. You know, shout out to Marvel and everything like that for, you know, providing something we're going to modify and edit later. But, you know, this is, we're going to try to do this show weekly. At the least with special episodes depending on, you know, things that come out. Star Wars movie, Marvel movies, DC
Are you watching
movies,
Star Wars this week?
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
All right, but next week let's talk Star Wars.
We'll talk Star Wars,
Let's talk
dude.
Star Wars.
I'm reading the Marvel books right now. I've read
Which are
Extended
great.
Universe,
Which are
prior
great.
to.
Not all of them, but
I
they're
mean,
great.
yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't. Yeah.
We'll say that next time. We'll say that
Story.
next time.
But thank y'all for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. It's your boy Phony Toast with the most,
TASK Task 1.
and we're checking.